Transformative education happens not just in classrooms, laboratories, and libraries.
Throughout the university's history, our gymnasiums and playing fields have been the sites of wins and losses, but also of lifelong friendships formed and lifetime lessons learned.
If I could send a message to the donors, I'd thank them for everything, because I do everything that I do on this court because of them. I'm able to use these facilities to the best of my ability, and I'm able to do well in sports and academics because of them.
Good afternoon, folks. Welcome into Langhorst Field here on the campus of Elmhurst University. We have CCIW football today on the Elmhurst Blue Jays TV, youtube.com/Elmhurst Blue Jay TV, as your Elmhurst Blue Jays take on the visiting Pioneers of Carroll University. My name's Ross Buckwitz. I'll have the play-by-play for you today, and I'm joined today by my good friend, Mr. Dean Parr. Dean, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, Ross. It's good to be here. Beautiful campus down here at Elmhurst. You know, a little bit different view for us today, but nice fall day, sunny day, not a whole lot of winds. Great football Saturday.
Yeah, Dean said specifically a little different view is normally we're on the Pioneer Sports Network calling Carroll home games, but the normal broadcast crew had some illness, so SID Matthew Hoff, emailed Carroll's SID, Carthage, North Central, kind of the teams in the area, seeing if anybody could come down and fill in. We were able to, so we're happy to be here for you on Blue Jays TV. And as normally we're Pio partisans, I would say, but we'll do our best to be as neutral as possible, give you a nice broadcast today.
We've joked many times about taking our show on the road, and here we finally are.
Also looks like the Blue Jays won the toss. Pioneers going to receive, it sounds like. Both these Blue Jays here coming in off a loss. They played Wash U last week. Dropped that one 49-10. Of course, Wash U receiving votes in the top 25 polls, sitting in 3rd place in the CCIW. They have a big game today as they actually host the Wheaton Thunder, probably the game of the week in the CCIW.
A bit of a season of streaks for Elmhurst, coming in with their losing their first 2 and then winning 2 in a row, but now losing 2 in a row. And they're looking to get off the schneid, as opposed to Carroll, who had a big win against Augustana last week, 30-20, is looking to keep their momentum rolling. They're trying to get a 3rd straight winning season under head coach Mike Budaszewski.
Of course, that's a name that CCIW fans are well aware of. Before coming to Carroll as the head coach, was the offensive coordinator at Milliken, so made his way around the conference. Blue Jays have it teed up. Marco Davila back to kick. Pioneers have trio of running backs, Nick Lagnioli, Jackson Case, and Mikey Coleman. It will bounce and just get into the end zone for a touchback. Awkward play there. I think Lagnioli expected the up back Coleman to grab it.
A little bit of confusion there for sure, but Pioneers lucky to be able to get this one out on the 25. I think even Lagnioli, I think you had to kind of double check with the ref to see if that was a dead ball at that point or not.
That was a great kick by freshman Marco Davila. If that one just doesn't bound into the end zone, chance to pin the Pioneers back. As we see the Carroll offense come out, we'll run through the starters quick. First, I'll have the Pioneers across the line. Number 61, Kevin Whitman, left tackle. Left guard, number 53, Justin Rupnow. Center, 78, Matt Kenstenos. Right guard, number 64, Lewis Carey. Right tackle, Jalen Pritchett. And they're following the left tackle. Whitman, that's Reed Breckheimer, one of the tight ends.
Coming right out in the Rhino package.
Now, this is a wrinkle that Mike Budaszewski added a couple weeks ago with the offense struggling. The idea of the Wildcat, but we call it the Rhino package because you're snapping it to a tight end, a little bit bigger. They will be in it again. Just a sweep off to the left. Couple of running backs lead blockers. Breckheimer makes a cut, spun down near first down yardage. And they are going to give him a first down.
And running into number 66, Colton Fakes, one of the backup offensive linemen, probably going to be getting some tick today. As Pritchett not entirely healthy, so been rotating a bit.
They bring in a couple extra offensive linemen for this package. They are sticking in it. Mike Budaszewski coming out, it'll sweep off to the left again. Breckheimer makes a cut, runs through a couple tackles, fighting forward for yardage. Will gain about half the distance for first down.
A late flag from the side judge all the way here at the bottom of your screen.
I couldn't see the Blue Jay, but pushing with Jackson Case, one of the reserve running backs for the Pioneers, did not catch the number of the Blue Jay player. We'll sort out this penalty.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense, number 0.
It's going to go against the Blue Jays, number 0, Charles Scott, one of the inside backers. But while they mark that off, we'll finish out the Pioneer starters. We've talked a lot about Reed Breckheimer, normally a tight end. The 3 wide receiver set, number 1, David Simmons, number 4, Santiago Rios, number 13, Titan Kilgore. Number 2, Charlie King, who's in the game now, will be the starting quarterback, second career start, and Marcus Johnson listed as the starting tailback, but we see Mikey Coleman in there. Also see Nick Lagnioli and Jackson Case. As King back in the gun. Bad snap, he's able to pick it up. Don't know if this was a design QB draw or if he was just making do with what he could, and he'll just barely get back to the line, maybe lose a yard on that one.
I think that's just King trying to improvise a little bit off the bad snap. I don't know if it hit the ground as it was being snapped, but we actually saw last week Coach Budaszewski in the Pio game called several quarterback powers. King, using some of that athleticism, had close to 40 yards rushing in that game.
King, a fairly mobile quarterback, in for Pendleton. They got a Blue Jay to jump, so it's a free play for the Pioneers. Throws it up deep up the right sideline. And David Simmons makes a spinning one-handed over-the-shoulder catch, and he is in for a touchdown. Going to be 44 yards. Of course, we have to check the penalty. It looked like offsides on the Blue Jays, and Pio's able to take advantage of the free play.
Offsides on the defense, number 42. That penalty is declined. Touchdown.
think that's
Justin Harris was the D tackle that was called for it, and good job by Charlie King to realize game sense of what's happening there and then hitting his man downfield. I thought he was actually going to Rios on the outside, but like you said, a spectacular grab by Simmons to get that spinning into the end zone.
Yeah, Simmons, a freshman from Lakeside, Arizona, as the extra point is up and good. Only into the game due to a season-ending injury to senior receiver Sammy Muth. But the young fella showing concentration there with the big play quick hitter. Didn't even have a chance to run through the Blue Jays defense. So we'll do that quick. Across the line will be number 3, Ettore Agbenyanya. At the end, D-tackle 97, Andre Hunt. Another D-tackle 42, Justin Harris. Number 99, Malachi Correa, the other D-end. Charles Scott, number 0. Number 54, Jace Zafiro. And number 25, Keith Cohen's linebackers with 11, Jeffrey Lightlighter. 2, Chris Reeves. 37, Connor DeVries. And 5, Taylon West.
And if
on defense,
if Elmhurst is going to try and look to contain some of those long passing plays, they're really going to be relying on Jeffrey Lightlighter, one of the better defensive back out of Antioch, not too far away, out west of here a little bit. He's been a pretty good high school program and is just a sophomore. They're going to be looking for a lot from him in the years to come.
And a squib kick from the Pioneers. And one of the up-backs, number 45.
Evan Weber, a linebacker.
Just jumps on that one. Wise play there. Of course, on those squib kicks, if an up-back can get it, you'll get decent field position, so no reason to risk a fumble for a guy, linebacker not used to carrying the ball.
It went through the hands of that first up back, and Weber did a good job just to be able to get on that one. Big guy's probably not used to running with the football, so they'll take that start of the 24.
First time we'll see the Blue Jays offense, they'll have the ball at the 24-yard line, so essentially a touchback. In the pistol, motion out the back. Drop back to passes Odom, quick hitter over the middle, bounces through the hands of one receiver into the waiting hands of number 1, Jacob Cockrell. Usually you figure that tip drills for D-backs, but that time the wide receiver on it, and the Blue Jays will pick up a first down.
And, watching the film may not be exactly how you drew it up, but, number 7, John Odom, is probably going to take that just about every day of the week.
Yeah, he hit it the tight end. I believe that was number 80.
83, RJ
Anderson. Yeah, hit his receiver in the hands, so he deserved a completion there. This time Odom will be back in the gun, brings a receiver short motion. It'll be a mesh, that zone read. He pulls it, trying this right side. Strung out, and will gain a couple of yards.
So an interesting note is all-conference linebacker number 0, Damon Loker, for the Pioneers, out with a foot injury. And the backup linebacker starting today, number 39, Braden Curtin, did a really nice job of diagnosing that and keeping his eye where it's supposed to be on the quarterback on that read. It was honestly a good job by Odom to get a couple yards out of that, as the Pioneer defense had been swarming pretty quick.
We're actually going to see a switch at quarterback. I believe that's number 8, Jack Leons. He got it a little bit last week again. WashU late. Straight handoff off this right side to Curtin. Good job closing out, but broken a couple tackles. Big play for the Blue Jays. That's going to be a run of about 30 yards by number 30, Darius Lane. Initially bottled up, but as you can see here on the replay, made a couple men miss and punished the Pioneer defense.
And Lane's got good size, 6 foot 200 pounds. As a graduate student, showed a lot of strength and some burst on that run.
So we'll run through the Blue Jays starters quick. Along the line, 77, Mustafa Dan Madam. 78, Javon Manuel. 72, Caden Cornell. 76, Javion Young. 58, Nicholas Kozlowski. Tight end, 83, R.J. Anderson. 3 wide receivers set. 4, Max McCarville. 6, Caleb Garner. 1, Jacob Cockrell. As fake handoff doesn't do much on the thing, but play over the top, and it's going to be just off the fingertips of number 6, Caleb Garner. He had position on the Pio corner, just couldn't quite haul it in.
That was a really nice pass from Jack Leons. I have a feeling that we might be seeing some big explosive plays here by both teams today. Might make for a pretty exciting CCIW matchup.
To round out those starters, number 30, Darius Lane, had the big hitter on the ground, and then Starting quarterback, number 7, Jack Odom, back into the game, but we've already seen Jack Leon's. Very different styles. Odom, a little bit undersized, pretty good runner. Leon's that big cannon of an arm. Interesting to see if they continue that. Another zone read. This one's given to the backup tailback, Tavion Porter. He fights forward for a couple yards. They'll set up a 3rd and about 8 for the Blue Jays.
For the Pioneer offense, we've seen them run quite a bit of 12 personnel this season, utilizing both Reed Breckheimer and Trevor Hancock at tight end. And so far, RJ Anderson's been split out as a wide receiver on just about every play here for Elmhurst. So it'll be interesting to see if they attempt to have more inside runs like that going forward.
Well, it's kind of a philosophical thing. Do you add bodies to make it a phone booth or spread them out to get your guys' lanes? As here back in the pistol, quick slant and hits Anderson between the numbers, but he dropped it. I think it would have been short of first down yardage, but that was definitely a set up a 4-down territory kind of play.
And so there, of course, Anderson making me look like a bit of a fool as he did line up tight to that right side of the line. Actually had a really nice route, had the free release, ran it perfectly to right about the sticks. He would have had a first down, but I think just took his eye off the ball for a split second. Now we've got a 4th and long.
And the Blue Jays will go for it. They'll run in Jack Leon's bigger arm at quarterback. I think a fortunate break. It looked like Lane maybe jumped for the false start, and they're actually just going to pooch punt it. And it'll be out of bounds. Referee walking forward. They're going to spot it just outside the 20 at the 21. So it'll be about a 16-yard punt from the backup quarterback. Set up the Pioneers 1st and 10 from just outside their own 20.
And so, like you mentioned, today for the Pioneer offense, Charlie King getting his 2nd career start. Caden Pendleton had been the starting quarterback for the Pioneers going into last week, but the Pioneers decided to make that switch, and Charlie King was a little bit slow to start things off, but did end up throwing for about 240 yards and 2 touchdowns in that game, and a big must win over Augustana.
That was Pendleton started off hot in the Pios non-conference game against UW Stout, but struggled in CCIW play, completing under 40% of his passes as King will hand it off the right side to Mikey Coleman. He is stacked up after maybe a half yard.
Yeah, so on our 2 deep, we have Marcus Johnson listed as a starter, but in the game last week, he did have a bit of a nasty leg injury where he had to be helped off the field by multiple other football players. So it seems like he might be out today, with Mikey Coleman getting the bulk of the snaps so far here today.
And that would also explain Marcus Johnson, normally one of the upbacks on kick return for the Pioneers. We saw Jackson Case, the number 4 running back there, as King will hand it off. Actually, he'll keep it. Underhand pitch forward to number 4, Santiago Rios. He'll be drug out of bounds after a gain of about 5, set up 3rd and medium for Carroll.
Bit of a true RPO look from the offense there, as I thought King was actually going to potentially keep it himself, but making that little flip to Rios and getting a couple extra yards.
It's a little bit of a wrinkle on the old school triple option, where instead of having a pitch man, you have a shovel pass to a receiver. I know that's something that the Kansas City Chiefs have made popular, with Patrick Mahomes flipping it forward to Travis Kelce. This is the Pioneers back in the gun, 11 personnel. 2 receivers up top are Rios and Kilgore down here. Simmons, they're actually going to hand it off up the middle to Mikey Coleman, and he is not going to get there. Stacked up after a yard by the interior of the Blue Jays D-line.
So Elmhurst lining up that play in a base just 4-3 look, nothing too fancy, but a nice job by the linebacker here on the near side, number 25 on the roster, listed as Keith Cohens as a running back, but was able to completely get by his man and keep that tackle, or make that tackle to keep that run from not being a first down.
And they'll bring in Noah Strevler for his first punt of the game, leading the CCIW in punt yardage. Gets off one, he'll force a fair catch at just about the 30 by number 4, Max McCarville. So Blue Jays will go back to work. Slightly better field position than their first time out.
And I have to imagine we'll probably be looking to take a couple more deep shots here, as they definitely had it open when they were looking for number 6, Garner. It's definitely going to be one thing that defensive coordinator for the Pioneers, Garen Holly, going to be having to keep an eye on.
And with this QB rotation, you got the runner in Odom, the bigger arm in Leon's. That stresses the defense constantly having to go back and forth between, playing for the QB run, the throw over the top, as he will fake it, avoids the first sack, but gets drugged down, actually flips it to the receiver, Jacob Cockrell, who is in blocking, avoids the tackle, but will still be a loss of about 2 yards. But really, think of that as almost a gain of 5, considering he was on his way down, being spun down by Will Campbell.
The presence of mind to be able to make that throw in that situation is very impressive. Will Campbell, one of the fastest linebackers in the conference, got in his face. That was a very long developing play by Elmhurst, and I have a feeling we're probably not going to be seeing that one again today.
I think Luke Brosig, one of the defensive ends, was in there quick to disrupt that timing. Let's rotate back to Odom, quick hitter, just a bit wide, looking for 84 Preston Simard, and that will bring up 3rd and long for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, and that throw for Odom just a little bit down and to the left there.
So also we mentioned, the different quarterbacks stressing the defense. Dean, a former defensive tackle, would you be more worried about being that stress as a defender, or would you not want that from your offensive perspective, that they can't get into a rhythm moving back and forth between the QBs?
I think a lot of it depends on how much you practice it on from the offense, but as a defense, it's definitely something to keep in mind.
Odom fakes a screen one way, comes back the other, too tall for number 17, Gabe Hultke, and that will bring up 4th down in a punting situation for Elmhurst.
And a lot of the Elmhurst ball's a little bit high, but the Elmhurst receiver is not doing a lot of favors for their quarterbacks here so far in this one. And that was a DB number 37, Anthony Pickens, actually. If he had maybe another split second, he might have had an interception there with that ball being tipped once again.
Slight delay as the Blue Jays only had 10 on the punt. Pioneers there, I would have liked to see, run a sub on, maybe force a delay of game. But the Pios come after this punt, just about get there, but does get it off. It's fielded by number 3,
Jacob Semen.
And he will go nowhere.
Of course, Carroll hitting on that Hail Mary on the free play earlier in the game gave them early advantage, but it also just feels like this could be the start of a real kind of grinded out game.
During the play, during the kick, personal foul, number 49 of the return team. 15-yard penalty, first down.
There's going to be a personal foul against number 49 of the Pioneers. There isn't actually a 49 on the Pioneer roster.
Yeah, I missed that, but this actually affects what I was going to say, is that so far Carroll has been the clear victor of the field position game. And a lot of times, if you constantly have to be trying to drive the field, it can just take a lot out of your offense to be able to keep that kind of consistency. But of course, now it's a little bit more even here as the Pioneers are going to be starting from the 25.
Unfortunately, with the kind of short punt, Pioneers not too pinned back after the personal foul, so they'll have 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line. King back in the gun, Coleman to his right. They'll hand it off up the middle. Coleman picking his way forward. Not much space in the middle of that line. Gates back to the line, maybe a half-yard gain on 1st down.
At that time, Charles Scott just was able to get by Trevor Hancock, who's very easily beat Coleman in the hole, and has a nice form tackle while having an a tight end, like basically right on his hip.
Pioneers back in the gun, as is typical. Coleman still off to King's right. Rios down here alone. Simmons and Kilgore up top. Straight drop back. Looking for the fade to Santiago Rios. And he can't quite tiptoe the sideline. Just out of reach. I think he may have stepped out of bounds anyway. So I'll set up 3rd and 10 for Carroll.
And that was number 11, Laylighter, in coverage. Talking about him a little earlier as one of the impact players, had himself in really good position, as Rios, I don't think, ever really had a good opportunity at trying to catch that one.
Yeah, it's tough, you're throwing this fade to an outside receiver, short side of the field. Good work by Leiter. Just
good size as DB as well as 6'3".
And just escort him off to the sideline. No room for the catch. So Pioneers will have to convert a 3rd and long. King, straight drop back once again. Blitz off the right side, able to climb the pocket, but he is going to go down. That was number 99, Malachi Correa, coming off the edge. That's where the extra rusher came from. Correa got around the right tackle, Pritchard, and drug down King for the sack.
A bit of a coverage sack there, but Charlie King also, watching the film, probably going to want to get that one back, moving up in the pocket a little sooner to try and get that one away.
So Strevler will be back for his 2nd punt of the game. There is a flag before the punt. Couple of Blue Jays clapping. Looks like it might be false start against the Pioneers. Back them up even further.
Number 99 of the kicking team.
It's number 99, Abe Stockwell. Defensive end in as a blocker. Coverage guy for the punt. So back Streffer up 5 more yards. Standing just outside his goal line. Clean punt, but not a good one off the side of his foot. It does take a Pioneer bounce. Will go out of bounds at about the 32-yard line. Not the best punt of the day for Strebler, but it does take a fortunate bounce for him. Still ends up, basically flipping the field.
All things considered, a pretty impressive punt overall to kind of flip the field a little bit. Elmhurst had both of their returners heels at about the 40-yard line. It looked as if Elmhurst was going to have their best starting field position of the day. And I'd have to double check the stats to see what it is here. Might actually be here at about the 34, 33. And it's going to be interesting to think the first time we've seen them in the pistol.
Blue Jays in the pistol, tight end motion, sticks in, straight handoff to number 27. Porter bouncing off the right side, going to pick up a couple of yards.
I got a backup offensive lineman in there, number 71, Evan Maniates, I believe is how you say that. Had a really nice block there to be able to spring for a couple extra yards. Otherwise, that one might have been gone for 0 to 1 yards.
Yeah, pulling around, got a piece of the linebacker curtain to give the space for the gain of about 3. Called a long 7 yards now for the Blue Jays. Odom still in there at quarterback in the pistol. Has Porter behind him. Now Porter steps up. Offset to the left. Pioneers showing pressure. They bring some. Odom on the fake. Gets the pass through to Jacob Cockrell for a gain of 18 and a first down.
That's a really nice rhythm throw by Odom there, finding Cockrell right as he was making his break. The Pioneers really kind of cheating up to stop the run here. A really nice play call by the Elmhurst offense.
It'd be 1st and 10 at the 46 of the Pioneers for the Blue Jays. They'll stick with Odom. 27 still the running back Porter. Off to the left, 2 receivers stacked, 3 receivers stacked. Near right, 1 up top. There'll be a sweep off to the right side. And Porter is drugged down for a gain of a yard by Will Campbell.
And that time it looked like Campbell was a little too fast, came unblocked. Was able to make a really nice tackle here on the near side. That was number 78, Javon Manuel, needing to try and get out there and block him in space. Manuel listed at 6'3", 300, just maybe not quite fast enough to try and get out there and get in the way of Will Campbell.
I wonder if maybe one of those receivers stacked up was supposed to try and climb up to Campbell on the 2nd level, but just couldn't get off a double team. So it'll be 2nd and officially 10 yards. Odom still in there in the pistol. Pioneers showing pressure off this left side. Curtin actually will drop off. And Odom will go down. Number 92, Riley Staub, straight up beat the left tackle and drug Odom down from his blind side.
And we've seen the Pioneers show and disguise their blitzes pretty well a lot of the season, run a lot of stunts. And that time, like you said, Staub just beating left tackle Dan Matum just right off the bat. Great use of the hands and driving them all the way back now for a 3rd and 20.
So with the 3rd and long, Leons will come back into the game. Be a empty backfield, 2 receivers each side, tight end attached to the left tackle. Straight drop back now. It looks like it's going to be a QB draw. Leon's making a cut, picked up about 15 yards. Make it 4th and 5, so now a decision for head coach
Campbell with the tackle.
Mike Murray, but looks like they are going to send on the punting unit. Of course, last time in the same situations, Leons did a bit of a pooch punt. This time it will just be a straight punt with Nick Mullett back to kick.
I like this decision too, because if you're Elmhurst, it gives you the ability to really pin Carroll back if you execute this punt well. Carroll's been winning quite a bit so far on the field position game, so being able to pin Carroll back and try and make them go the length of the field after a couple offensive struggles gives your offense a potential really good starting field position on their next possession.
Blue Jays just get that punt off, almost blocked, just gets it away. Simmons collects at his 8-yard line, makes the first guy miss, but tackled at the 16-yard line, so Pioneers will have the worst field position of the game off of a nice punt by Mullett.
Mullett did that one just about perfectly. Got it right around the numbers there, around the 10-yard line. It was
number 81 of the return team. 10 yards.
And there's going to be an illegal block in the back against number 81, Alex Gibson of the Pioneers. So that'll be half the distance to the goal. Pioneers will start inside of their own 10-yard line. Actually going to be the 6. Because it's half the distance from the penalty, not the end of the play.
In today's day and age, a lot of people really like going for it on 4th down, but this is why, in that situation, I think you punt.
Dino is an ex-defensive tackle, so of course he wants to punt and try and pin him back. King straight drop back. Finds Breckheimer on the crossing route. He's got some space. Nice tackle there. Number 54, Jay Safiro, able to grab the legs of the Pioneers' best offensive player and allow his teammates to rally. It'll be a gain of 4.
Yeah, the Elmhurst Blue Jays are going to need to keep an eye on where number 45 is all day. Those crossing routes, they do like to hit Breckheimer, and he's been shown to be able to break a lot of tackles. Last week had a 70-yard touchdown catch and run, where he was able to break one tackle on a slant and then outran the entire defense to the end zone.
Like we talked about when the Pioneers came out in that kind of Wildcat Rhino package, as we call it, best player on this offense. King will send receiver Simmons in motion, catches that little pop pass. Blue Jays are ready for it. The right end, Vitor Agrignana really stretched out that one for Simmons to cut back inside. And going to be maybe a gain of 1 for the Pioneers, set up 3rd and medium.
So if you look there on your screen, you'll see number 30, Nick Legnioli, one of the running backs for Carroll, missed that block. He was the linchpin to make that play work. And number 5 for Elmhurst, Talon West, making an excellent play out in space.
Pioneers will have 2 tight ends to the left, Legnioli off to the left of King. A couple receivers up top, Santiago Rios and the freshman Simmons. King straight drop back. Going to try and go for Trevor Hancock, the other tight end. On a little comeback, he's able to dive forward for first down yardage.
Scott with the tackle.
And that was a little bit better job of Charlie King moving up into the pocket and then delivering that throw on time, staying in rhythm as a big-time first down for the Pioneers.
Hancock's a guy who does have good hands, normally more of the blocking tight end, I think. Kind of feigned the block, came out late, and the Blue Jays just couldn't get to him. So we'll have a false start against the left guard, Justin Rupp now.
5-yard penalty.
Looked frustrated. I think he probably did not hear the snap count there because he just went on 1.
And the Pioneers with a uncharacteristically high amount of penalties here so far in this first quarter.
At the end of the first quarter, your score is
Had that exciting play on the first drive with the Hail Mary, but have kind of shot themselves in the foot here more than a couple times.
And with those couple penalties, the Blue Jays have definitely won the field position battle since the Pioneers scored that opening touchdown. It has mostly been played, within, in Pioneer territory, maybe just a few yards into Blue Jays. So we will flip the field here at the end of the first quarter. Pioneers leading the host Blue Jays 7-0 off that big play on the free play to David Simmons early in the first quarter. You know, that one, first possession of the game, not even 2 minutes in. And since then, Pioneers struggled to move the ball. Blue Jays had the big play on the run by Darius Lane, not able to take advantage though.
Yeah, Elmhurst been playing that 4-3 defense, been pretty effective at stopping the run. You know, the last couple weeks, the Pioneers have been averaging well over 100 yards on the ground between Marcus Johnson and Mikey Coleman. And so far in this one, I think the longest rush of the day maybe was Charlie King on that scramble of 5 yards or so.
So it'll be 1st and 15 after the penalty before we flip the field. King back in the gun, Legnioli to his left. They'll hand it to him, and he gets hit right away. Number 42, Justin Harris, one of the D tackles, gets in there.
And I think there had to have been a missed assignment on the Pioneers there, leaving a man unblocked there on the far side. That is a recipe for disaster for the Pioneers.
Now it looked like one of those left guard up now maybe pulled into the center and left tackle. Neither of them got a hand on the D tackle, so 2nd and long now. They will hand it to Legnioli. Reverse it now to Simmons. Charlie King out front trying to get a block. Simmons cuts up field, navigating that sideline. He's going to go for near first down yardage, and it will be first down Pioneers on the trick play on 2nd and long.
The key block there on that play actually was the quarterback, number 2, Charlie King, out here on the near side. How about the quarterback, sticking his nose in there a little bit?
Got just enough of the cornerback, Trey Jackson, to let Simmons use his quickness to cut upfield and get that first down. Biggest run of the game for the Pioneers, good for about 23 yards. King in the gun, Legnioli to his left, checking with the sideline. Looks like they'll stick with the play. High snap, King corrals it, but that threw off the timing enough. Legnioli goes down in the backfield.
And so far, Elmhurst is not letting any room for this Pioneer rushing attack to work. Number 25, Keith Cohen's having himself a really nice game so far here in the first half, making it really tough on these offensive tackles for the Pioneers to try and get out in front of them.
There. So we'll check that in a moment. King, quick hitter out to Breckheimer in the flat. He's got a head of steam. It will pick up a first down before he is cut down by number 5, Taylon West.
West with the tackle. Another first down for Carroll.
A really nice job by Titan Kilgore and number 4, Santiago Rios, to not block before the catch is made, but also just kind of be in the way to allow Breckheimer to have some more space on that far sideline.
Going back to that negative first down play, actually, Pioneers have a backup lineman in the game at right guard, Alberto Chavez, normally a center, in for Lewis Carey, as King motions Legnioli out into the backfield, trying to hit him on a comeback. Looks like a Blue Jay defensive lineman got a hand on it, though, to knock it down. And it's number 97, Andre Hunt, with the swat.
And that's just one of the fundamentals they teach you as a defensive lineman. If you can't get to the quarterback, you see the ball being thrown, get your hand up. Most of the time you probably won't get it, but plays like that, it's always a great job to get a mid on it.
So they'll make it 2nd and 10 for the Pioneers. Legnioli still in the game. Offset left from King, handoff straight up the middle to him. A little bit more room, and the senior will pick up 9 yards to set up 3rd and short. Aaron right behind Reed Breckheimer, lined up as an H-back there.
Yeah, they did a nice little job, kind of like a wham block almost, as Breckheimer immediately working over to his left. Legnioli finding the seam right up the middle. And another really good run for the Pioneers. Been few and far between so far with that tough Elmhurst front 7.
It'll be 3rd and 2, Wildcat snap to Breckheimer. He just goes straight up the middle, stacked up near the line, but spins around the pile. Will pick up 3 yards and a Pioneer first down.
Breckheimer is listed on the roster at 6'1", 245 pounds. That's a lot to try and bring down in a hole like that. Showing a lot of strength, getting just about a yard past the line to gain that time.
Pioneers will have a couple of receivers down here to the right, one up top, tight end Breckheimer off set to the left. Straight drop back for King. He is well high, looking for Santiago Rios on the comeback.
Yeah, King just misses him high that time, and Rios is not a short man, listed at 6'2". That ball was probably another 2-3 feet over his head.
It's like looking at that replay, I think King just a little bit lazy with the footwork, didn't really line up his body on that throw. Was just trying to throw it all arm. Oftentimes if you don't step into your throw, oddly enough, you sail it high because you're not snapping off and finishing it. So King will be back in the gun. He'll sweep it off to Legnioli to the left, cuts upfield, makes another man miss. He's crawling forward, going to be just a hair short of the first down. It'll be about a half yard on third down for the Pioneers.
So a starting running back out, Marcus Johnson. Nick Legnioli going to have a much bigger role here today. We saw him with a lot of good runs last season, but had that knee injury. Really coming back from it now.
Yeah, missed about 6 games, barely played in most of the others. Legnioli will plunge forward, pick up the yard needed for another Carroll first down.
A good job by Charlie King to grab that snap as it was a little high and off to his right.
The longest extended drive by either team so far. Pio scoring drive, of course, had the big play. The best drive from the Elmhurst, also a big play on the ground. First time we've really seen one of these teams grind out a few first downs here this afternoon.
The Pioneers be able to effectively run the ball for the first time consistently today here on this drive.
King got a couple of guys moving. Just determined it will be a false start from our umpire.
False start. Numbers 45 and 61 of the offense.
Both.
I was wondering who they were going to call because he could have had either of them, so might as well just call both.
Yeah, Breckheimer and Kevin Whitman there on that left side. So what I think happened is Itor Agviniana was the first one to move, but he never actually came across into the neutral zone before Breckheimer and Whitman jumped to try and lock in that 5-yard gain. So it'll be a false start against the Pioneers. King straight drop back, climbs the pocket, moves out to his right. He will throw it upfield to Titan Kilgore, trying to navigate that sideline, not able to. I think it got knocked away.
Yeah, it was number 11, Laylighter again, as he's got a couple inches on Titan Kilgore. Those long arms, he's able to get in pretty good position and knock that one away at the last second.
Yeah, of course, that's the hard thing in that scramble drill. You got one, you'll have a receiver running forward and another one taking off. It is difficult, and Lang floated that one up there well, gave his wide receiver a chance, but just a better play on defense by Laylighter.
And a good job by Charles Scott to keep King from being able to scramble with that one.
2nd and 15 now for the Pioneers. King in the gun. He will hand it off to Legnioli. Hit in the backfield. Number 42, Justin Harris. Thought maybe you might see a flag,
there is
and you do see a flag.
Side.
I think maybe a face mask.
Personal foul, face mask, number 42.
I'd like to see on this replay. I wasn't sure if it was a face mask or if he had him just up around the collar.
I couldn't quite tell from up here, being this far away. Sometimes it looks like a face mask, and it's actually just the shoulder pad. He might have had a little bit of jersey there, but he also might have scraped across the face mask as well.
I wonder, too, maybe it was that the finger got into the ear hole of the helmet, and that's what drew the flag. But it'll be first down for Pioneers. They needed that one. It would have been 3rd and 18 otherwise. 1st and 10 at the 20, just inside the red zone. King will have Mikey Coleman off to his right this time. They'll hand it to Coleman off the right side, trying to pick his way through, but nothing doing there. He will pick up maybe half a yard at most.
And that was number 42, Justin Harris, making that play. We've called his name a couple times here. Did a really nice job of being able to get off his block and make a tackle in the backfield there.
So they'll call it no gain. Be 2nd and 10 now. Coleman still 2 Kings left in the gun. Straight drop back. Pump and go. Played well by Lightlighter. Did he pick that off? It's just a matter of did he stay in bounds, and he did. Pioneers tried a stop and go. Laylighter back in zone coverage, did not bite on the stop route, and in position to make a wonderful interception in that back corner of the end zone.
A really nice grab there. King, I think, waited too long. Had his man open for maybe about a split second if he gets that ball off a little sooner. Maybe if Kilgore works his way to the inside a little bit. Also, I think Titan Kilgore may have suffered a bit of an injury there.
Yeah, it's slow to get up after that play, but impact play defensively by the sophomore, Jeffrey Laylighter. Cut down the best drive we've seen from either offense. Give the ball back to the Blue Jays. Odom fakes the handoff. Looks like it was a straight QB pull. He'll sweep around for a gain of 3.
Home with the tackle.
That one was to the up back. I wonder if we might see a proper triple option. Actually, no, they were reading the D-end Abe Stockwell, who crashed on the dive.
And that is a nice call because they're trying to get by Braden Curtin, the linebacker on the near side here, is one of the backups. Is able to kind of take advantage of the absence of Damon Loker. That's good game planning right there.
Odom back in the on 2 running backs with him. Fakes it to 1. Looks like they're running that same play off the right side. I think Odom might have been looking for a pass the way he initially had it. Just had to tuck it, dive forward to pick up half a yard on second down.
Pioneers had another backup linebacker in there, number 47, Larson Dixon. Did a pretty good job of being able to diagnose what happened there and get out to that left flat.
And Larson Dixon is the reserve that moved into the 2 deep with that injury to Damon Loker. As dominoes fall. Nice play there from the reserve, and some of the first action we've seen him this year. So it'll be 3rd and medium, call it 6 for the Blue Jays. In the pistol is Odom. Straight drop back. Looks like he was looking for number 1. Rickwell on there. On the scramble drill, goes downfield. And Elliot Miller coming back, breaks it up for the Pioneers. Just looking in the direction number 4, Max McCarville, who did get back behind the Pioneer defense for a moment.
Odom did a really nice job of escaping the pocket there. He gets out to his left and makes a pretty good throw. He's had his man open, and McCarville thought it was a penalty, but I think that was pretty clean.
A tough break. It actually did get through to the hands of McCarville. Just couldn't quite bring it down as he was going to the ground. So it'll be another punt for the Blue Jays. Pioneers coming after this one once again. Almost got there. Semin picks it up on a bounce. He will lose a couple of yards. But I think that's an instance of giving up your own stat line to save probably another 10 or 15 yards of bounce for your team.
Yeah, from kind of interesting here going
with the tackle for the Blue Jays.
In that direction. We've seen a couple less than stellar punts end up having some really good rolls.
I think that's the when you're from right to left, you're kicking into the wind. We saw Strevler had a tough punt like that. Swink had the squib kick off of the Pioneer touchdown. I think the special teams coordinator is just identifying that it's a tough sledding to kick that direction. So Pioneers will have King. He'll hand off up the middle. Actually, no, he'll keep it. Try to spin around a defender, but he's going to go down for a loss of 3.
The Elmhurst pursuit from their defense has been quite impressive here today.
And yeah, there actually the read was to pull. Just a nice job by Malachi Correa to get off of his block on that play side to bring down King in the backfield.
You don't really see too many teams running like a true base 4-3.
They'll sweep it off the left side. Legnioli will pick up probably 7 yards, make it 3rd and 5 now for the Pioneers.
And Charles Scott did a good job of getting his hands on Legnioli there. Otherwise, he had that full head of steam. Probably would have been a little bit harder to tackle him if he'd had just another yard or two to get to.
Also, number 0, Charles Scott, I think, got a piece of the ankles to slow him down. So it'll be 3rd and 5 for the Pioneers. Tight end off left is Breckheimer. Legnioli still in the backfield. Simmons and Rios, the receivers, down here near side. King going to try and scramble forward, diving forward. Going to be just short. Brought down at the 49-yard line. Needed exactly midfield. And the Pioneers going to go quick. King under center for the QB sneak. Stacked up initially. One official, the linesman on the far side coming in short. Head linesman is there at the 50. The Blue Jays come out of the pile. Was that ruled a fumble? We're going to have a discussion here with our officiating crew.
You know, of course, from our angle with the...
It's like sounds like up here, no fumble. But then it doesn't matter. Looks like he was short either way, maybe. Well,
rolling on the field is forward progress was stopped at the 50-yard line. That's the line to gain. First down.
it is forward progress at the 50. Pioneer ball. Both offenses were out on the field. That fires up this Elmhurst field crowd.
I'm not entirely sure that is the correct call in that situation there. Obviously, from our angle, you couldn't really tell. It was a 22-man huddle is basically what it was.
Well, and each linesman coming off the side, you know, the linesman on the far side had him short. Head linesman on this side had him with the line to gain. Controversial call goes in favor of the visiting Pioneers. King straight drop back on 1st and 10. He throws downfield, floats one into triple coverage. I think Santiago Rios was the intended target. He lost it. David Simmons almost came up there and made a play.
I almost wonder if number 4 Rios ran the wrong route, because bringing an extra defender into the route of number 1 Simmons, that just adds a little extra traffic. I don't think that was quite how Mike Budaszewski, the head coach offensive coordinator, probably drew that one up.
Yeah, looking at the replay, it looked like Rios was supposed to go downfield to pull those safeties out of there. Fake it to Legnioli, drop it off to Breckheimer. He breaks one tackle, tiptoeing up the sideline. And he is going to pick up about 20 yards. He was hit right after he picked it up, but just strong enough to run through that tackle and pick up big yardage for Carroll.
So initially, this is read very well by number 5, Talon West. You'll see him. He's in great position to make this tackle and stop it for no gain. But he doesn't wrap up on the tackle, and Breckheimer is an excellent receiver with a lot of strength, able to, like you said, tiptoe up that sideline and get a big gain for the Pioneers.
Of course, with Breckheimer having 50 pounds on the corner, that is a tough play. Handoff up the middle to Legnioli. He runs forward for about 7 yards. Tough yardage there for the Pioneer senior.
Gain of 6 on the play.
The Pioneers feeling like maybe they can impose their will a little bit here with a little bit of momentum after a big play like that. It'll be interesting to see in the second half how much the Pioneers potentially look at going to play action if they're able to keep running the ball like they are on this drive after struggling a good bunch of the earlier parts of the first half.
Pioneers 2nd and 4. King with Legnioli offset to his left. It'll be straight handoff to Legnioli working off the left side. Spinning forward will pick up 3 yards. Make it 3rd and 1.
There's another instance of Talon West being able to come up and be in good position, but just not wrapping up at the point of attack quite as well as you would normally like, as Legnioli was able to spin out of that one and get an extra yard or so.
On 3rd and short, Pioneers back in the gun. Legnioli offset left. Breckheimer also as an H-back to the left. King will run a power off that left side, has to make a man miss, spins forward. He's going to be stacked up right at the line to gain. It will come down to the spot.
I think it's a pretty good one there. No gain on that play. That's some really nice film study by the Elmhurst defense. If you look at that design, it's a really nice job to maximize your blockers. The Pioneers utilized that play very effectively last week, and Elmhurst was absolutely ready for it. Didn't make the tackle, but number 3, Ogbenya, able to really blow that one up before it got started.
I think another instance for the Pioneers where a high snap just slowed down the play enough to allow the Blue Jays to rally to the ball. And we will have our 2-minute timeout, so that will give head coach and play caller Mike Budiszewski a moment to think about this one. It looked like he had the Rhino package, as we have dubbed it, in the game. Jackson Case, Mikey Coleman were in the backfield with Reed Breckheimer. This is one that's a tough call. It's in field goal range for Matt Swink, 6 of 7 on the year. Has been impressive in his first go-round as the Pioneers starting kicker. But I think you're looking at a 7-0 game. You've got a big advantage in yardage. This is a chance to really drive home and kind of go snatch your victory, especially after you've got that second life on that 4th down call right at midfield.
A couple other scores that are just reported from D3Football.com and the CCIW. Wash U with an early lead, actually 3-0 over Wheaton. And Augustana hanging in tough so far, actually, with North Central. North Central leading 14-7. Of course, other games, Illinois Wesleyan and North Park, and Carthage and Milliken playing today as well.
Those ones were both listed as at the end of the first quarter. Of course, all the CCIW games this week kicked off at 1 o'clock. So maybe we might have to double check at halftime, see if those are up-to-date scores. And I don't know if you noticed, while you were checking the scores, Mike Murray was having a discussion with the officiating staff, kind of gestured back towards midfield. I think he's still working on that, forward progress call. And the Pioneers are going to come out in that Rhino package. Breckheimer will take the snap back in the gun. It will power off to the left side, and he runs through a couple, makes man miss, stiff arms another, carrying defenders into the end zone for a 20-yard touchdown run for the Pioneers.
And that's a back-breaking run if you're the Elmhurst Blue Jays. Reed Breckheimer, like we said, just, almost 250 pounds. That is and he is fast too. So when he gets a full head of steam, you cannot bring him down with any arm tackles. You have to gang tackle him, and I think that is more X's and O's or anything. That was actually just individual effort getting that ball into the end zone.
Yeah, X's and O's don't matter as much as the Jimmies and Joes. And that time, I think Breckheimer was the Jimmy and the Joe on that play.
I would say so.
Swink is good on the extra point. But yeah, right here, first man hit Breckheimer at the 12-yard line. Runs through 2 tackles, carries 2 more into the end zone. There's nothing you can do if you're the Blue Jays. If there's a guy on the other side who can put forth an individual effort like that.
Another interesting top 25 matchup in the D3 landscape today is UW Whitewater heading out to UW Platteville, the Chris Memorial Bowl.
The other Pioneers, as we like to call it when we're on our home broadcasts. Of course, a number of those coaches out at UW Platteville, former coaches at Carroll, a couple former players as well. So that's one that we always look at with interest.
It's been an interesting year in the WIAC, too, if you look at it. It's been almost a bit of a round robin in terms of Oshkosh beating Platteville last week, Platteville beating River Falls, and La Crosse before that.
Swink will have another squib kick. This one, good bounce for Carroll as it was picked up at the 12-yard line. Only about a gain of 5 on the return by Tavon Porter. And it'll be tough field position for this 2-minute drill for the Elmhurst Blue Jays.
So that's an interesting Elmhurst personnel question there, because once again the Pioneers kind of picking on number 45 Evan Weber once again out there, as Weber, a linebacker, probably not used to carrying the ball in his hands, had a chance to pick it up, and if if he had wanted to, could have gotten a little bit better field position for the team here, but it is going to be tough sledding here with 1:46 to go for Elmhurst.
So Blue Jays will have the throwing quarterback, Jack Leons, in the game. Straight drop back. Now he's not trying to navigate some traffic in the pocket. Ball is loose. It's on the ground. And the Pioneers are going to jump on it. I think that was 99 Abe Stockwell working across the formation to knock it away from Leons. And Pioneers have the ball back, looking for a backbreaker here late in the first half.
There's a really nice pass rush by the Carroll front. Multiple guys being able to get into the backfield, but a pretty long developing route tree there is, not a whole lot of time. Elmhurst looking to get the ball downfield is holding on to the ball too long. That ball is knocked out, and now this is a worst case scenario for the Elmhurst Blue Jays.
1st and 10 from the 12-yard line, so Carroll can pick up a first down without punching it in. King will hand it off to Legnioli off the right side, picking his way through down to the 5-yard line. Call it the 6-yard line on the spot. Make that 3rd and 3. Or 2nd and 3, excuse me.
As Pioneers, the front five seem to have found their rhythm a little bit, being able to move the ball.
Now, same exact play. Legnioli will pick out about 2 yards there. Set up 3rd and 1 now from the 4-yard line.
That was actually number 20, Jackson Case, in at tailback, getting that carry.
Oh, yes, excuse me, 20 and 30, look pretty similar on these Pioneer jerseys. Nice to see Jackson Case you mentioned Legnioli's injury, also had a pretty tough leg injury last year, has not seen a lot of play offensively, but nice to see him back in there for Carroll. King will roll out to his left, and it's going to be hit as he throws. It's going to be an incomplete pass. He was looking for Titan Kilgore on the corner route on the rollout, but Blue Jays defense read it well.
This was a look, actually, that Carroll was pretty effective at last week against Augustana with one particular play where they threw an end zone fade to Cameron Evans. Using all of that 6'6" height, they scored a touchdown there, and I imagine they probably want to try and get something similar, but a nice pass rush by Elmhurst that time, going to be forcing a field goal attempt.
And I would say this is a victory for the Blue Jays defense to force Carroll into a field goal attempt on the sudden change. Spotted at about the 7. Swing right down the middle. Make it 7 for 8 now for field goals on the year for the Carroll sophomore. Make it 17-0 here with just 30 seconds to go in the first period.
You mentioned it, Ross. It felt like a win for Elmhurst in that situation. It absolutely was. That short field, being able to respond to a sudden change, especially after on the previous drive, you thought you had them stopped on 4th down in that time, and then they have the long touchdown run to Breckheimer. All the momentum was on Carroll's side, but able to stem it a little bit there. Probably, if I have to imagine, not really going to be looking to attack with 29 seconds here to go, but Elmhurst will be getting the ball to get things started off in the second half.
So it'll be interesting to see, do the Pioneers continue kicking at the linebacker, number 45, Evan Weber, or is philosophical difference. The Pioneers, everyone deep for Carroll is a running back, so you don't have to worry about that. A little bit better blocking with a bigger player. But at the D3 level, you're seeing things like this done on the kickoff a lot. This time they tried the other side, picked up at the 10-yard line by number 1, Cockrell. Makes a man miss, spins around another, but a flag on the play. There's a Pioneer down.
That was number 27, Tavion Porter, with that block. And I think it was on number 18, one of the defensive backs for Carroll, Jonah Miller.
I wonder if we're going to get one of those blindside blocks that's been added as a penalty in the last few years. Here, we'll check the replay as he's still down behind the play. Actually, no foul on the play. Yeah, it was a legal hit, shoulder to shoulder. Nice block there
I was going to say I was a little bit surprised that they initially decided to throw the flag, especially because it took a little bit for the flag to be thrown after the actual action had taken place. That's just a really nice block, but hopefully Miller is okay, still being attended to.
I think that's one of those that, whenever you see a play like that, you're always worried about, is it helmet-to-helmet contact? A nice work by our officiating crew to come together. Note that it was just a good, hard block. But unfortunate to see the young man down behind the play.
Good to see number 18, Jonah Miller, pop up there and make his way off the field.
Yeah, I still wonder if they might be in range of a concussion. The way he was, woozy walking off the field initially. Did pop up and run off on his own power. I have to imagine with just 20 seconds to go before halftime, training staff will just take him right to the table to get him checked out. As Blue Jays will have the ball, 1st and 10 from their 25. Odom in the game, going to hand it off up the middle. Little bit of space for Porter, makes a couple men miss. That'll be a gain of 15. Timeout Elmhurst.
I think that's Elmhurst's best run of the day.
Second best one, the long one too, by Lane to set up that pooch punt.
Right,
but yeah, probably the best play on offense since then. And that will draw the first timeout of this first half by head coach Mike Murray. And I think that was a play that, you're just, let's just hand it off, get into halftime. But after the big gain from Porter,
see what happens, I think, is the approach that you probably go with, where if you do break a big one, maybe it changes you what do you want to do.
And we will see Odom will stick in the game. I thought maybe it might go to Jack Leon's bigger arm as you're trying to push it downfield. But with 2 timeouts, you probably have enough time to get 3 plays off if they all go quick. So maybe the idea is get into Hail Mary range and then bring on the big arm. Quick hitter up the middle, hit in the hands, Jacob Cockrell, and straight drop on that kind of slant, skinny post route. And that would have gone for first down yardage once again for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, especially if you get to that 50-yard line, you call a timeout immediately. I would say that probably gives you a chance to give one, maybe 2 chances at the end zone.
I think with 9 seconds to go, this is a long throw still. You're probably looking at one more slant, kind of similar route last time. Get down, then run on everyone on for the Hail Mary. Odom, trouble with the snap, able to get it. Long throw once again, hit a receiver. It was off frame this time, Max McCarville, but 2 straight plays where Odom put balls into the hands of the receivers, not able to bring either one of them in, and that'll set up our final play of this first half, barring a defensive penalty by the Pioneers.
So those are plays you just can't have. If you're down 17-0, you have a chance to potentially give yourself some points here at the end of the first half to stay in momentum. You got to catch that ball.
And this time it will just be a handoff off the left side. Cutting back is Porter. He'll pick up 8 yards, but that will do it for the first half. Here from Langhorse Field, the visiting Pioneers leading 17-0. Blue Jays will get the opening kickoff of the second half. We'll have, 20 minutes for halftime, so we'll take break, probably be back with about 5 minutes to go in halftime with first half stats and second half action here on Elmhurst Blue Jays TV.
When I came to Elmhurst and we were walking around, I just saw a lot of people interacting, whether it was in the Crowns Forum, whether it was here on the mall, or anything like that. I could just tell that there was that sense of community, and it just feels so natural and like a home. If someone came to me and said like Elmhurst and like their top 2-3 choices for schools, I would say go for it.
Elmhurst helped me through more than the other schools. Elmhurst would call me every week about the financial aspect of it and about helping me see which credits would transfer over so I would know how many years I would have to stay. When I came to the school, everybody was exactly what they were. Everybody was real helpful. Like every year they helped me with my financial aspect of it, and grade-wise, the teachers are always here. You can email them at any time. Believe what you see because the people really care about you here.
My experience with applying here and transferring over from College of DuPage was wonderful. Actually, it was probably the easiest transfer of any kind I've ever made in my life. My hand was held, questions were answered before I had a chance to ask them. It helped me actually to make the decisions that I needed to make without trying to figure out what questions do I need to know. That warmth, that friendliness, the opening of the door for you as you walk in.
Elmhurst is a great place to start off, even at my age, to come back to. The MBA program, the price of it is affordable. The location is very convenient. The teachers are phenomenal. I can't ask for a better school to go to.
One of the things that inspired me within Elmhurst is to take on bigger responsibilities. So I'm starting a young professionals network in our company, and we're building it up, and I'm taking a lot of experience from the things that everyone else has done and from this cohort and from Elmhurst, and trying to develop this in our company. So overall, it's been a great experience.
The ELSA program is a place where kids with special needs can just go and gain more independence and meet a bunch of great new people. The program helps me become more organized because you have to know where you have to be at a certain time. I value the friendships that I've really gotten to make here. Everyone should come to the ELSA program.
I love Elmhurst. It's small enough to where you feel like you're in a community of friendship, but it's also got so many connections.
It's close to home. It has many opportunities in the area.
I've developed wonderful relationships with the professors and clinical supervisors, and I really felt like I was an individual and that I mattered.
If you're considering different graduate programs, definitely come visit Elmhurst. They have endless opportunities.
There's people to help support and guide you throughout the whole journey.
I feel safe and supported since the moment I arrived at Elmhurst University.
When we first enter the school, they will offer the courses for security, safety tips, and also the status for international students.
When I first arrived here, so I have the orientation. I was having a jet lag at that point, and I couldn't join every activity. The leader of my OSL leader, and she would just keep on texting me, asking me if I'm okay, and I feel so welcome and loved.
Welcome to your richly deserved Elmhurst University Commencement Day.
It is my honor to present my sister, Alpha M. Brady, as a candidate for the degree of the Doctor of Law, honoris causa. I am deeply honored to stand here as an alumna of Elmhurst University. It was Elmhurst College when I was here, that tells you a little bit. The place where I not only began my professional journey, but also where I came to truly understand the power of knowledge, perseverance, and most importantly, community.
We pray that your light shines down upon these young people who now begin a new journey.
It's my honor to present Dr. William Benici as a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
Keep your options open. Find that hidden talent and explore it. You will never know where it will lead you, and it might lead you down a path you never imagined.
and do well in representing your alma mater. We are very proud of you. Congratulations again.
Class of 24, away we go!
My name is Danielle Corliss, and I am in Elmhurst University's online MENP program. I believe that nursing is a calling. If you have an interest in healthcare, this is a very diverse field to go into, and you have a lot of options on what areas you want to work. I'm really excited to be a clinical nurse leader because there is a strong possibility to improve patient outcomes and improving the conditions that nurses and other medical professionals work in. I really hope to impact the lower income or underserved communities. Coming from Kentucky, where I was an EMT, and then even in my clinicals here in the Chicagoland area, there are a lot of underserved communities and they don't have access to the proper health resources. And I feel like focusing on those lower income, underserved communities can really help the healthcare system in general, but can also improve the overall health in these populations. My favorite part of this program has definitely been the clinicals. So my big aha moment during this program was during my critical care rotation. I was at a Trauma 1 center in Chicagoland area, which was a very great experience. And working in the ICU and in the ED, that's when I really knew this is what I wanted to do. Listening to my classmates and my friends talk about their experiences in clinical has been a really exciting experience, just to hear that they're doing well and that they're having the experience that we all hoped for, and that we're able to put the knowledge that we've learned in class into the actual setting and into the real world with real patients. It's very exciting because we're almost at the finish line. It's a very proud moment for us.
After my undergrad here, I was working kind of locally with a couple former alumni in kind of a business setting, and so I was kind of interested by that. And then to get this degree was a huge opportunity for me and something that I just couldn't pass up. From the first class, couple classes, the instructors brought a lot of their personal experiences in. So it was a lot less of like, hey, let's just read the book, let's go over the text. It was more like what they brought to the table, what they've learned in their careers. And for me, that was huge because being in the small size class, having an instructor that's going to be more engaging, it just made for a better overall experience. I was always looking for something that was going to be data-driven. I was really interested in some of the storytelling that we did with the marketing class. So in my career currently, I'm an insights manager at a market research firm. Having the opportunity to specialize in something made it easier for me to narrow in on an industry. When I transitioned from the MBA program into my role now, I felt like I could take on things right away and hit the ground running. It's not only getting the degree and using it to elevate your career, but I learned a lot about myself as far as being challenged and stretched to be able to balance, coaching and classwork and a job and, relationships, friends and family and things outside of that. That was so unique to me, and to anyone that's considering this, absolutely do it. Yes, it's going to be hard. Anything worth having is going to be hard, but you learn a lot about yourself by doing it.
When I graduated in 2020 with my undergrad, I knew I wanted to continue my education. It was a natural choice to come back to Elmhurst. I had grown to know and love the faculty, the students, the environment, the curriculum, the flexibility behind the MBA program. Since I didn't really have a specialization, I took that time to take entrepreneurial classes, marketing classes, to see which path I really wanted to take. And in doing so, that allowed me to kind of figure out what I wanted to do afterwards. An exciting thing that the MBA has enabled me to do, I have two different perspectives, one of my own obviously, but also from my profession. I do talent acquisition, so I'm able to review resumes and applications of people who have and do not have master's degrees or MBAs, so I know the real life implications of having an MBA. For myself, it just allowed me the opportunity to take that extra step in my education and help to understand which direction I wanted to go. If you're looking for an opportunity to connect with others, to build networks, this is a great opportunity to do that. There's a small class size. They focus on team building and projects revolved around that. So Elmhurst gives you that opportunity to, not only see what you're good at, maybe learn from others and see how they work and how they work with others and how you could maybe expand upon that. If it wasn't for Elmhurst, I don't know what I'd be doing right now.
My name is Ricky Franks. I'm a part of the Accelerated Master's Entry Nursing Program here at Elmhurst University. What drove me to choose Elmhurst is the flexibility of the program. With this accelerated program, you're allowed to start right after your bachelor's degree in any other field that you've been in. So after this, we'll have our MSNs, and then after that, if you want to pursue your career more and become a doctorate or a nurse practitioner, then you can just get your certificate. The best part that stands out to me of this program is just the relationships that I built over the time that I've been here and the opportunities and experiences I've had through clinicals. We've had all of the clinicals, so we have pediatrics, OB. It really just opens up the opportunity to experience. During those clinicals, you're able to really practice the skills that you're learning and just really facilitate that compassion to your patients. It really just made me decide that I really wanted to go into mental health. It really solidified that decision. Now I have been accepted to a post-certificate program for mental health, and I want to be a nurse practitioner after that, which is just underneath a year. I really want to advocate for patients, people who don't really have voices in those vulnerable populations. I really just want to make sure that they're heard and that they're cared for in the way that they should be.
Transformative education happens not just in classrooms, laboratories, and libraries.
Throughout the university's history, our gymnasiums and playing fields have been the sites of wins and losses, but also of lifelong friendships formed and lifetime lessons learned.
If I could send a message to the donors, I'd thank them for everything, because I do everything that I do on this court because of them. I'm able to use these facilities to the best of my ability, and I'm able to do well in sports and academics because of them.
Good afternoon, folks. Welcome back into Langhorse Field. We got just about 4.5 minutes to go at halftime here on Elmhurst Blue Jay TV for our CCIW football matchup between your Elmhurst Blue Jays and the visiting Pioneers of Carroll University. Carroll up 17-0 here at halftime. We'll run through our stats quick. I know we got a highlight package for you too that'll run. Pioneers leading 205-80 in total yardage, 103-54 rushing, 102-26 in the air, but really probably the big things, turnover deep in Elmhurst territory, that controversial play right at the 50-yard line that bought the Pioneers another possession that ended up with that second touchdown, but also big play on defense for Elmhurst. Jeffrey Lefleiter with the interception. So I think we'll run our highlights here quick. First is that opening touchdown from the Pioneers. Free play. Charlie King floats it up there. David Simmons with a circus one-handed spinning catch. Able to bring it in for the touchdown.
A real tone setter to start things off, and actually was probably one of the best Carroll plays of the whole first half until the very end of the first half.
And there, Pios tried a pump and go. Leylighter doesn't bite. Beautiful interception in that back corner of the end zone. He basically ran the route with the receiver in Titan Kilgore's hip pocket the entire way. And here, the fourth down play. This came after that play at midfield. Reed Breckheimer, the tight end, took the direct snap in the Rhino package, just running over players, and that's why we call it the Rhino package.
And then the sack fumble and happened there at the end of the first half, set up the Pioneers with a short field, but then also a really nice recovery by the Elmhurst defense after the fact to only give up a field goal. After that gets us to our 17-0 score of what we have here.
Yeah, off that sudden change, you're all of a sudden back on defense inside your own 15. You give up a 7-8 yard run on first down, but then tighten down, force the field goal. And apologies, we didn't have that fourth down play at midfield. It just happened so quick. Weren't able to get the highlight cut, but going back to that, I think that was probably the key play of the first half.
I would say so. Yeah, that because both offenses were back out on the field expecting to go, and from our angle here, I am not 100% confident that Charlie King had the first down yardage in that situation, but the refs say he did, and therefore it was a first down, and that drive culminated in that Reed Breckheimer touchdown.
And don't forget, I think it was Taylon West came out of the pile with the football. It's hard to tell. It looked like maybe King, was called forward progress. Maybe King was laying on top of the pile and down, and West came out of there. But the other thing about that play that's interesting to note, in the first half, our linesman was on the Carroll side. The head linesman was here on the Elmhurst side. Head linesman was running down the 50. Linesman was at about the 49 3/4. So, had to come together on the spot. Had it been what the linesman had, they would have been short and Elmhurst ball. Like you said, Pioneers finished off that drive with another fourth down conversion on that 20-yard Reed Breckheimer run. If that goes the other way, that's a completely different ball game where it was just 7-0 at the time. Of course, like we noted, Pioneers took the opening kick, so Blue Jays will get it off of halftime. And something to look at, the Pioneers have had kicker Matt Swink, in this kind of cold, windy day, hitting those squib kicks right at the upbacks. For the field flip, do we see Noah Strevler try and bomb one out for a touchback, or do they keep trying to pin the Blue Jays short?
Also, do the Pioneers keep using Matt Swink as the kicker, as I believe he's handled most of the kickoffs here today?
And Carroll's kind of gone back and forth with that. I know Noah Strevler with the bigger leg as the punter handled him early, and actually the very first one of the season that Matt Swink handled was at a home game against Wheaton. It was actually in this same situation, Pioneers kicking off to start the second half. Surprise onside kick to try and steal back a possession. against one of the top teams in the CCIW.
Porter and Cockrell back deep for the Blue Jays.
Pioneers will kick from left to right. Porter and Cockrell. Porter had a big block on the last kickoff return that kind of sprung Cockrell pick up about 25 yards.
For the Pioneers.
Just real quick across the rest of the CCIW, Illinois Wesleyan was up 17-7 on North Park. North Central up 28-7 on Augustana. Milliken up 17-7 on Carthage. And Wheaton up 14-3 on WashU.
That we were talking at halftime too. That Wheaton WashU game's kind of a loser. No chance at the playoffs. Winners still staying there on the periphery. And another squib kick. This one takes a weird bounce. It looks like the Blue Jays are back on it. And one of the up backs, it kind of bounced up funny on thought it was number 16, Justin Clark, but that listed as a quarterback. Maybe it's number 19, Trey Jackson. But good recovery there. That one could have been disastrous for Elmhurst.
Yeah, I think every Elmhurst fan probably just had a hard stop for a moment. But out of it all, Elmhurst actually going to be set up with pretty good field position.
Yeah, at the first and 10 from the 38, I believe Elmhurst's best field position of the game so far. Odom will be in there in the pistol. Tight end motion to his left. It'll be a straight handoff to Porter, but before the play whistles, that looks like it's going to be a false start against the Blue Jays.
Number 72, the offense. 5 yards.
And it is against number 72, the center, Caden Cornell. Yeah, he kind of flinched on that snap before he snapped it.
It's not very often you see the center make a play like that, but if you're Elmhurst, you really want to stay on schedule and not get behind the sticks, and being first and 15 is a really tough situation to, start out where you were hoping to get some momentum on your side.
Odom still in there. Porter initially in the pistol, steps up to his right. It'll be straight handoff off the right side. And picking his way forward to get a gain of 2 before the Carroll defense swarms him.
Short gain on the play.
A pretty good rally there by multiple Carroll defenders. It looked like as if Porter, some good patient running, thought he might have had a seam there for a split second, but then gets wrapped up from behind and then hit by a couple different guys that would be driven back.
There, Blue Jays going to run back on Darius Lane. Looks like they'll re-huddle. Now they have a play call. They like 2 receivers stacked here to the left, one up top. Receiver in motion. Now snap off to his left. Odom handles that, but almost immediately hit Stephen Lazaris off the left end. Gets home for the sack.
That was a pretty rough rep for both of the tackles, as here on the near side. Defensive end number 92, Riley Staub, had a really nice rush as well. If Lazaris doesn't get there, I think Staub probably does from the backside.
And it looked like initially that one of the tight ends was trying to get the block on Lazaris, and then the right guard, 78, Javon Manuel, was also out there, but never picked him up when the tight end tried to pass off Lazaris. Make it 3rd and forever now for the Blue Jays. Pioneers bringing pressure right up the middle. Odom just drops the ball. It will be jumped on by the Blue Jays, but that will be a loss of 20 plus. This time Odom flushed from the pressure right up the middle. Ball just popped out of his hands without being hit. And that'll make it 4th and about 40.
That's I would like to know what the protection drawn up is look like, because I've had got to be some couple missed assignments up front there. No way you allow 2 free rushers like that.
So now tough snap, short punt. Simon will catch it at the plus 40. Some room to roam up this near sideline. He will be pushed out of bounds at the 25, but excellent field position for Carroll. And there's a Blue Jay injured on the far hash mark.
Officials timeout on the field.
So, I don't know, Pioneers coming after these punts.
Hey,
just got it off.
They've been close on a couple of them as well.
The number on the injury. I think it's player down, being tended to by the training staff. He is up. It's number 26, Eric Brown, a reserve sophomore receiver from Rockford, Illinois, Boylan High. Back up on his feet.
Hopefully the young man is all right.
I'll say moving gingerly, so the training staff will have to check him out. We will keep an eye out, see if we see him back in this game.
He's moving a little gingerly, so it makes me wonder if it's a leg injury of some kind.
But that will set up the Pioneers 1st and 10 from the 28-yard line. King in the gun. Running back offset to his left, 2 receivers up top, 2 tight ends in the game. Will be handoff up the middle. Actually, no. King pulls it. He's got a lot of space, and he will bring it in for another Carroll touchdown. Make it 23-0 now, pending the extra point. That was something I noticed in the first half, Dino, that wasn't pulling much. There's a lot of space. That time he's able to.
Yeah, that's one of the, I think, fringe benefits of the quarterback change that the Pioneers decided to go with for Charlie King is, you know, Caden Pendleton, big kid and a good athlete, didn't really run the ball too much. And Charlie King last week is a pretty good dual threat, and that time you saw it, he was just able to make a good read and then outran everyone to the end zone.
Swings extra point is up and good. I think Pendleton more of a long strider, about 6'5". Charlie King 6'1" or so. A little bit shiftier, just it's a lot easier to get, you know, a 6'1" frame moving and changing directions than it is 6'5". But that will make it 24-0 here from Langhorst Field.
And for Elmhurst, that is just the absolute opposite of anything you wanted to be able to start out, because you have that, you know, nice stop at the end of the first half, and you get the ball back to start the third quarter, and you know, giving up a short field and having a bunch of negative plays with some penalties. It really feels like it, unless they have a good offensive drive here, you know, the way momentum is going, they might be putting themselves into a bit of danger zone here.
As Swink will take the kickoff. This one, another low liner, actually caught by a member of the front line. That's number 23, Yashmiel Coopwood, a senior D-back from Chicago. Good hands there, and sets up the Blue Jays in excellent field position.
Yeah, he just saw it hitting the ground and dove right to it. That's is some, you know, real nice reaction time. You know, grabbing that, and you know, this is a better play for getting a little momentum back on your side now, giving your offense a real short field.
There's one in the first half where he just about got a piece of it. This time able to make the snag, so it'll be 1st and 10 from the Elmhurst 49 for the Blue Jays. Jacobs in the game, fakes the handoff, throwing deep, has a receiver open, but just a little wide for Cockrell. Coming to this near side. Excuse me, Jack Leon's in the game. And combine his first and last name there.
You really want, you know, maybe a little bit better look from your quarterback there. You got a man open, and a really nice play design, and for the first time in the second half, you actually block up and get a really nice open pocket for your quarterback, that's a play you got to make.
Well, the one tough thing on that play in the Pioneers in zone, had to drop it right into the bucket. Be a straight handoff on second down, but nothing doing. Chase down from the backside by Riley Staub. Go for a loss of 1.
Staub with the tackle.
It'll be 3rd and long now.
On a play like that, when you are the defensive end on the wide side and you see it's going to be run opposite, sometimes your instinct is to go upfield because, defensive ends have, rush the quarterback mentality sometimes. Being able to stay parallel to the line of scrimmage gave him a chance to do what he did there, which was get a tackle for loss, and just good discipline there is being shown.
So 3rd and 11 now. Leon's in the gun. Straight drop, actually going to move out to his right a little bit. Coming back to the Pioneer sideline. A little high, looking for the target, 83 R.J. Anderson, in the great field position for the Blue Jays, squandered, as that'll bring out the punt team.
Yeah, I know the pocket was breaking down that time. If Leons has a clean pocket, I think he probably hits his man. He was open, and even if he doesn't get the first down, you have a high percentage 4th and 1 opportunity.
I think we talked about it with Charlie King in the first half. When you can't step into the throw, you sail it high. I think that was the case. There was just enough. The Pioneers, once again, coming after it. Returner will let it bounce. That was number 22.
I think, is that the first time we've seen Binkowski back to field the punt?
I wonder if was it Jake Binkowski or was it Aaron Apiakubi? A wide receiver and D-back. Either one of them could potentially be the man back, but either way it'll be a touchback. So Pioneers will have it 1st and 10 from the 20.
So we saw one play of the Pioneers offense this quarter, and it went for a touchdown. It'll be interesting to see how they look to attack here with a 24-point lead.
Pioneers, 2 receivers down the right, tight end either side of the line. Legnioli in the backfield. Straight drop back from King that hit that little flat screen to Breckheimer. He's able to turn the corner, runs over one man. He's in the open field. One man to beat is West. And West is able to bring him down. But a big play for the Pioneers. That will go for 45 yards or so on 1st down.
I think it's going to be a 50-yard gain, or just short of a 50-yard gain. With Breckheimer once again just showing off the strength, simple out route, able to turn upfield and just refusing to be tackled.
Personnel note for the Pioneers. Now the entire right side of the line is reserves. Number 66, Colton Fakes, in for Jalen Pritchard. As we had noted in the pregame, he was battling an injury. King straight drop back, slot fade, dropped it right in the bucket for 13 Titan Kilgore, and that will be another Pioneer touchdown.
And, great throw by Charlie King and nice catch by Titan Kilgore. That's the first time that I think Kilgore's been able to best Laylighter out there. Like you said, right in the bucket. That was the only spot that play could have, or that ball could have come down to be a touchdown at.
Yeah, it was excellent coverage from Laylighter, but it's impossible to cover a perfect throw.
Will be enforced on the subsequent kickoff. Touchdown.
Don't have a number. It was unsportsmanlike conduct against the Pioneers. That 15-yard penalty will be marched off on the ensuing kickoff, so Pioneers will be kicking off from their own 20.
It was on Kilgore. There's a little bit of taunt, I have to imagine, on the touchdown catch.
Yeah,
perhaps just a little bit too excited.
Well, yeah, after Laylighter got the best of him in the first half, maybe just a hair too fired up. Snap is down, kick is good. Make it 31-0 now, Pioneers. Early in the 3rd quarter, just 4.5 minutes gone. Already 2 touchdowns for the visiting Pioneers.
Going into this season, last year for the Pioneers, quarterback Josh Raby had one of the best passing attacks in the CCIW, and were definitely trying to look and keep up that, explosive mentality, and they didn't quite have it with Caden Pendleton, and I think that's one of the reasons why the Pioneers decided to switch to Charlie King at quarterback, and the switch is paying early dividends.
And Porter back deep for the Blue Jays.
A little confusion from our back judge. I think he initially was going to set it up at the 30, but it should be back at the 20 after the unsportsmanlike conduct. So the way Swink has been trying to drill those squib kicks, if one of the upbacks can jump on it, it will be, once again, very good field position for the Blue Jays. Well, the deep men lined up at the 20. Swink is ready now, run up and the kick. He actually kicked it deep. It'll be caught, fair caught by number 45. That's the linebacker, Evan Weber. So we'll actually be Elmhurst ball at the 30, so not as good a field position as you'd expect.
And going back to just, I'm not a football coach. I'm just a former player, and I was a defensive lineman, so I was not a special teams player. It kind of makes you wonder, in that position for that upback, I almost wonder if you want someone who, could maybe give you a few extra yards in a situation like that where you have a chance to get a short field.
Get a, maybe a tight end or, maybe a bigger body running back out there who's used to handling the ball, because there was room to run. Straight handoff, cutting off to the right is Porter. Big gain. He's in the open field. Only one man to beat, Elliott Miller, and he's going to be pushed out of bounds at the 1 yard line.
Porter really showing off some speed we hadn't seen today. That was an incredible run off the right side. Is just a basic stretch run, as you see. He gets out there, breaks that tackle, and then outruns 3 defenders. Is able to, of course, some maybe not great angles by a couple of defenders that time, but those wheels, just a huge gain there. Is I think probably the first real explosive play that we've seen from Elmhurst in this game.
Touchdown saving tackle by Elliott Miller. That'll force the Blue Jays to try and punch it in. It'll be officially at the 3 yard line. Oldham under center for the first time, and that will be taken in for the touchdown by Darius Lane, number 30. The graduate student gets the Blue Jays on the board after his running mate Porter set up the offense with great position inside the 5 yard line thanks to that big run.
One of the things I appreciate actually is the Elmhurst offense, actually going under center. They've been out of the gun in pistol all game, and being able to pound the rock in there with Lane, that's a good sign for the Elmhurst Blue Jays.
First time we've seen Davila with a place kick. It is going to be up and good. Pioneers still up big, 31-7. The Blue Jays get on the board in just 2 plays, thanks to that, what about 70-yard run by Porter to set up the 3 yard touchdown run by Lane.
It does kind of make you wonder if Tavion Porter really wishing he could have made it in for that final bit of the run himself, and having to not being able to be the one to score that touchdown as Elmhurst finishes off that drive.
That's a bummer. You do all the work, but don't get the payoff. But any kind of good team player is going to just want to see that 7 points on the scoreboard for his squad. Davila set up.
It's going to be interesting because I think this might be the first kickoff we've seen going towards the south end zone today. So the wind is a little bit more coming from that direction.
Only the second. The Pioneers had that first one after the Simmons touchdown, but other than that, everything has been to our right. Villa had to re-tee off. The wind blew it off. Kicks it deep. It'll be returned to middle. Actually, Simmons will be back to return it from the 5. Looking off to the left side. Gets a couple blocks from Case and Hancock. Gets drugged down. Going to be just short of the 30. Long run there. Completely switched fields.
Must have been a return left, if I had to imagine. And Simmons was really trying to get behind his blockers there, trying to see if they could get some lanes set up. And honestly, a pretty good return, all things considered. Able to get, past the 25. So, not great field position by any means, but quality enough.
An interesting wrinkle there from the Pioneers. Normally it's the 3 running backs, whether it's Johnson, Coleman, and Legnioli, or Case in for Johnson today, but Simmons, the deep man, Trevor Hancock also back there. Completely, different returning personnel. The Pioneers back to work on offense. King will work that mesh with Legnioli. He will be tackled for a loss of 1. There's no space to work in that interior.
Yeah, Nagbenya had a really nice play, able to get through the mess of there and stuff that one for a loss of 1.
Well, Justin Harris there firing off the ball, didn't make the tackle, but was the man who made the play to allow the rest of his line to rally. So make it 2nd and 11 for the Pioneers. King straight drop back. He finds Breckheimer leaking across the field. Slowed up by, I think that was number 0, Charles Scott, allowed the rest of the Blue Jays defense to catch up. It'll be a gain of 3 to set up 3rd and 8 now for the Carroll Pioneers.
That was a good job by Elmhurst to wrap up the legs of Breckheimer and then finally be able to gang tackle him and not let him be able to wrangle away from you. And now it feels like Elmhurst finally has a chance to swing momentum, as this is the first time in a while that Carroll's had a 3rd and long.
So 3rd and 8, King, straight drop back. Looking over the middle for Titan Kilgore. Pass complete, but going to be short of the sticks. Nice tackle by Jay Safiro to cut down the receiver on the crossing route. Set up 4th down.
4th down facing the Pioneers.
I think the Pioneer offense wanted to go for that, but I think in this situation you pretty much have to punt.
As much as I am team go for it, inside of your own 35-yard line, probably not the place to do so, especially when you've got Noah Strevler, one of the best punters in the Division III level. And he gets off another low line drive, takes a good Pioneer bounce though. It initially bounced at the 30, gonna roll down inside the 10-yard line. So it'll be, a 50-yard punt from Strevler.
Really nice job on the special teams there, especially, I think Strevler probably realizing that the wind's a little bit high, a little higher up. Just kind of getting that end over end to try and get it with a friendly bounce, and that executed just about perfectly. Elmhurst, I think, thought they were going to get pretty good field position there, now kind of pinned back a little bit.
Yeah. That about 50-yard punt, 20-plus yards of it was just the roll. So they'll make it 1st and 10 from the 9-yard lines now for the Blue Jays. Odom will be in at quarterback. Porter back at running back after his big hitter set up the touchdown last drive for the Blue Jays. Handed to Porter, no space this time. Quickly closed down by the interior of the Pioneer defense. I'll go for no gain, maybe a half yard.
Yeah, Staub did a really nice job of being able to come off his block that time. That was left tackle Dan Matum not quite able to get the seal there, so Staub was able to keep that one from going for any more than just the 1-yard pickup.
The Jays with that kind of half huddle. Odom, the quarterback, calling the protection. The receivers getting the signal in from the sideline, be in the pistol. Straight handoff off the right side to Porter. Ducks through. He'll pick up another yard. But the Pioneer defense has really tightened up after giving up that big hitter last drive. Set up 3rd and long now for the Blue Jays.
Lazarus with the tackle.
So I know you still got plenty of time left in this game, but I feel like you want to be a little more aggressive in some of your play calling.
3-yard gain on play.
Having a still, 3rd and what I would consider long is if you don't get this, Carroll now looks to be in a spot where they could get good field position.
Straight drop back in the gun. Free rusher gets it away. Anderson initially bobbles it. Brings it down for first down yardage, though.
Nice job to corral that one after he had dropped that potential first down earlier in the game. I think that might be Anderson's first catch of the game as well.
Yeah, a couple drops. Of course, on the very first play of the game for the Blue Jays, he had the ball, tipped through his hands, ended up in the hands of Jacob Cockrell for a first down. Time Anderson makes the catch. Odom initially in the pistol, brings Porter off to his left. It'll be a fake to Porter, deep shot to Cockrell, back shoulder fade. And there is going to be a flag on the play. Elliott Miller, the Pioneer corner, all over him. It's just a question, is it pass interference or holding before the play?
Pass interference, number 16 of the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So that's a case, I believe, of Elliott Miller, I think, just getting a little bit too handsy over there on the far side. It was in really good position, actually, if you look in relation to where the ball is, but he never gets the head around. So all of the contacts, they're going to make that throw. The official pretty much right in front of that one.
Well, it's a tough thing as a corner on those back shoulder fades, since you're not expecting it. If you're, in man coverage, you don't get the head around. You just oftentimes run right through the receiver. This will be capped at 15 yards. But we'll set up 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line now for the Blue Jays. Straight drop back from Odin. Drifting backwards, floats one for McCarville. Couldn't make the over-the-shoulder catch. Had a step on Jager Vine, the outside linebacker for the Pioneers. Just couldn't corral it.
And that was a really nice job of Odom of sticking in the pocket. I think he felt that pressure and dropped that one in a perfect spot, but McCarville just not able to make that grab on the sideline. Would have been a huge gain, about 20 yards or so.
Yeah, that time out and up. Slow developing play. Like you said, Odom did well to stick in the pocket against pressure. We'll bring Jack Leons into the game for the 2nd and 10. He will hand it off. Actually, no, he keeps it for himself for the first time. Breaks the first tackle, dives forward for a gain of about 5.
It's kind of interesting. I don't think we've seen him utilized as a runner too much here today, but looking at the 2 deep, 6'4", 215, he's got good size. Going to be kind of hard to bring down as a runner. As Braden Curtin was out there in good position, but wasn't able to make that tackle. So a 3rd and manageable instead of a 3rd and long.
Leons will stay in the game on 3rd and 5. Anderson, the tight end, in motion. Now motion back the other way. Going to roll out to our near sideline. Hits McCarville. He is going to pick up first down, make his way into Pioneer territory.
I like that play a lot because you utilize your motion very well. I believe that was number 17, Gabe Holtke, was the one wide receiver coming in motion to the opposite side of where the play went. Get those linebackers' eyes away from the direction of the play, give your quarterback a little extra room to work with to make that throw on time.
Nice work by Leons, rolling the wrong way, able to flip the shoulders back. Get a pass right between the numbers of McCarville. Good for a first down. John Odom back into the game at quarterback. He will hand off up the middle to Lane. Hit after a gain of about 3, set up 2nd and 7 now for the Blue Jays.
Not a big gain, but a pretty good job of opening up a hole there at the middle. And then the linebackers for Carroll just converging on the spot there. Braden Curtin and Dixon.
Now into the game also the first time, number 44, Reed Foster. Pioneers really testing that inside linebacker depth. Odom drops the snap, and it is being kicked around, still on the ground, being fought for, and the Pioneers are on it. And we've another flag after the play. That time Odom, snap was a bit low, never got it.
That is a killer turnover for the Elmhurst Blue Jays. That one pinballed around on the ground.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 94 of Carroll. Will be 15-yard penalty.
Going to be a unsportsmanlike conduct against number 94, Luke Brosig.
I have to imagine, didn't really look like anything egregious happened there, but maybe something was said down in the huddle.
And that time, Pioneers, Reed Foster, just into the game, tried to scoop that one. You know, normally,
I think he had the idea of a scoop and score on the mind.
I think, you know, when I was coached young, you know, when I was still playing football, small guys, corners, safeties, you can pick it up. If you got a neck roll, probably should just fall on the ball. So now Pioneers back on offense after the penalty. You'll have it at the own 37-yard line. King back in the gun. Straight handoff off the left side to Jackson Case. Shake and bake, makes a man miss. Upended after a gain of about 8 yards.
And originally, pretty good play recognition by the Elmhurst defense. As Cohen's, or excuse me, I think that was West actually, not quite able to make that tackle. In Case, yeah, showing off a little bit of shake and bake with the athleticism for that gain.
Pioneers 2 receivers down here to the right, couple tight ends up off the left. Jackson Case still the running back, offset to King's right. They'll fake it to him. Try and hit Breckheimer, and that little, that is flat screen. He's drugged down, and Breckheimer moving a little gingerly after that tackle.
I think the Elmhurst defensive coaching staff probably getting a little tired of getting burned on that play. That time Reeves in great position and makes an excellent tackle, wrapping up around the torso and getting Breckheimer down before being able to break another tackle.
So it'll be 3rd and 3 now. 2 tight ends in the game, 1 off each side of the line, 2 receivers up top. Jackson Case still the running back. King gets the snap, straight drop back. Could be a middle screen to Trevor Hancock. And he is cut down after just a gain of a yard. Once again, Chris Reeves bringing down a Pioneer tight end for little to no gain on a screen.
Yeah, Reeves showing a good mix of game sense and athleticism there. It looked initially as if Pioneers had a whole lot of space to work on, and Reeves closed very quickly. I think Hancock thought that he had another second to try and square those shoulders to dive forward.
I believe Reeves was probably responsible for Nick Legnioli out of the backfield when Legnioli, put his head down to block. Reeves read it and made the tackle. Cockrell on the fair catch on the
25-yard line.
I believe that was number 4, McCarville.
Kind of made a diving catch on the punt, on the fair catch. I think it is a smart play. You always want to go catch the punt. Don't want to let it bounce, because then you bring in, does it bounce off of one of your blockers? Strevler's had a few of them with good bounces for the Carroll Pioneers. Something, happened to the Packers this last weekend. I know probably a lot of Elmhurst Blue Jay, Illinois Bears fans tuning in, but, probably maybe watch the Packer game as well. But Keyshawn Nixon didn't field a punt and ended up hitting one of the blockers. Porter put his foot in the ground in the backfield. That cutback.
That was a nice move. Porter, big guy at 210. You see him just like you said, that 1 foot in the ground, able to kind of stumble and actually shake a couple of defensive players that time for about a 4-yard gain.
That time Staub read the play, was going to be there in the backfield, but Porter able to stop the momentum. Actually looked initially like he wasn't going to be able to get the train back going. but able to dive forward for a pretty good gain. Straight drop back now from Odom on second down. He's going deep, but overthrown. Look at in the direction of Jacob Cockrell. Had maybe half a step on the corner, Michael Gary, junior out of Calumet Park, Illinois. And that will do it for the third quarter. Pioneers leading 31-17 over the Blue Jays here from Langhurst Field. You're watching Elmhurst Blue Jays TV on YouTube. Your visiting announcers, Ross Buckwitz and Dean Parr here subbing in, coming down from Waukesha, along with the Pioneers.
Yeah, the first time you and I have ever been able to make a call from a different facility here in the CCIW. I know we joked a little bit back in the spring. Ross and I were fortunate enough to be able to call a couple of games in the NCAA tournament for women's basketball, and we got to see some matchup between some UAA and some WIAC schools, and made jokes about if anybody else wanted to hire us for a game or two, we'd be obliged to, and fun to actually make it happen.
Well, thank you to Matt Hoff, the SID here at Elmhurst, who give us the opportunity with the normal crew out ill. As Odom fakes the pass, hits Anderson, stumbling near first down yardage. It looks like he is going to pick up a first down.
Yeah, Odom did a really nice job there at the time. He's rolling out to his right, getting that ball up over the defender. That's a bit of a tough throw to make. That was a good rhythm throw, though. And I like that play design, able to get yourself a first down when you desperately need one.
A nice catch there by Anderson, kind of up on the back shoulder pad. Not always easy for a big tight end to make a play like that. And picks up his second first down of the game. Another low snap. Odom scoops it. And just behind Darius Lane on the kind of Texas angle route out of the backfield. They've been able to connect. He had some room to roam in the Pioneer secondary.
See, that time I think Odom was a little bit rushed because of the snapping on the ground, needing to pick it up. Lane was wide open, would have had a lot of room to work with. That is, you can't really put the blame too much on one guy there, but is a tough situation.
We actually, again, in the Packers game, saw a play like that, kind of a fake screen return. The Pioneers read the screen, put the foot in the ground on the angle route, had some space as Odom gets one away and face of pressure. Number 17, Gabe Holtke, picks up a gain of about 4. Yeah, kind of back to that last one. I was saying it was actually Josh Jacobs' first touchdown reception of his career. He had 217 catches before that. It was the NFL record for most catches without a touchdown. But yeah, you kind of, if you like I was saying, you fake out that screen to the flat, you put your foot in the ground, you come back on that angle route. The Pioneer defense was completely flowing to this near side. They had been able to connect. That would have been a big play for Lane, but just a hair behind him. So it will be now 3rd and 5. Odom in the pistol. Straight drop back, pressure in his face almost immediately, flushed out to his right. He goes downfield and just a hair high for Holtke. Tried to make the spinning catch on the scramble drill.
Yeah, the last 2 plays, the pass rush for the Pioneers has really been getting after Odom. The previous play they had a free rusher and Odom did a good job to get the ball out of his hand, and that time just had too many rushers coming after him. He has to get out of the pocket, and yeah, a little bit tough there when you're trying to get to Holtke, who is listed at 5'8".
And a couple of reserves were in. That was number 52. I'm not sure if that's Braden Albee or Javion Coons for the Pioneers, who flushed Odom initially. Punt is off. Seaman has some room to roam, cuts back, now heads upfield. We'll get about 10-15 yards on the return. Set up the Pioneers 1st and 10 from the 36-37 yard line.
Yeah, nice little return there. Able to get some yardage actually back up to the middle. Sometimes the traffic can be a little hard to work through. Seaman just put his foot in the ground. Anytime you can get an extra 10 yards, your offense will take it.
Pioneers still have King in at quarterback here early in the fourth quarter. Hand it off to Legnioli. Dives forward through the line, going to pick up 4 yards on first down.
Got there first for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, it was just a really nice job at the point of attack for the Carroll offensive line. Just a little man-on-man blocking with the head on the hat and able to get a nice hold, which keeps that clock moving on first down as we get close to 12 minutes left. The clock is definitely much more of a teammate of the Pioneers at this point.
To imagine, Pioneers are probably getting close to trying to work in some reserves here. We already saw Breckheimer come out of a pile injured. They actually throw it to him. It is going to be probably an uncatchable ball. Coach Mike Budaszewski unhappy with the officials, but King had some pressure in his face, just had to throw it before he was ready.
I think King knew that Breckheimer was double covered there. He just wanted to get the ball away. And it was a bit of a just kind of chuck it in that general vicinity of a receiver. Kind of dangerous, though, when you do have a guy that's double covered like that.
One thing for the Pioneers, if you can just sky it over everyone, not as worried, especially every member of the Blue Jays within about 8 yards of the line of scrimmage right now. As looking for Hancock on an out route, that's going to be a high.
I think Reeves got a hand on that one. Was able to knock that one away. Hancock would have had first down yardage.
Well, the Reeves got a hand on there, not great coverage there.
Yeah, it was step for step with Hancock the whole way.
Well, the senior corner really making some plays here in this second half. As Strevler will have another punt. Boots it away. McCarville will catch it right about the 10-yard line, gets a block, but drugged down at the 14. I think fortunate break for the Pioneers. It looked like maybe Abe Stockwell had the hand up near a horse collar tackle, able to let go and then allow the rest of the coverage unit to close down McCarville.
Yeah, and it feels like it's just another case of Elmhurst. We've seen them make good plays here and there, but just not consistently today, and it's even tougher to try and be consistent when you are back on your own 15, your 9. Like, having to go the whole length of the field so many times is really tough for the offense to try and build rhythm.
So first and 10 from the 15 or so. Odom in at quarterback. He will hand it off right up the middle to Porter. Quickly swallowed up by the interior of the Pioneer defense.
I think Clayton Huber was the first one
with the tackle.
There.
Porter
was able to get off that block and then drag him back.
Yeah, Huber listed at 5'11", 265. I think usually you figure the roster height and weight are you're adding a couple inches and a couple pounds. I think the Pioneers are selling Huber a little short. He is very stout in there at the middle of the line as a nose guard. Odom back in the gun, second and 10. Takes a snap, straight drop back, looking for Urkel.
Yeah, Larson
Cockrell.
Dixon came on the blitz that time on the far side, and Odom took a shot after delivering that ball. Actually was in, near catchable for Cockrell here on the near side. I think Elmhurst may be getting close to double-digit drops here today.
Well, that one was tough. McCockrell was battling Elliott Miller. They were having that hand fighting, was only able to free one hand to go after. I think if he'd been able to get both hands out there, it was placed well by Odom. So now be third and 10, Odom in the gun. Porter to his left. Straight drop back, looking for Cockrell, and just a straight drop on what would have been a first down play.
That would have been a gain of about 15 or so, and that time, they protected a little better. Cockrell had a really nice route, found the spot in the zone of where he would be open, and Odom recognized it right away. Maybe the ball is a little high, but anytime you get both hands on it, yeah, you got to be able to make that grab.
There's 56 passing yards for the Blue Jays. I'd have to guess there's at least that many, if not more, left out on the field with drops. But once again, the Blue Jays only had 10 on the punt unit. Fortunate the Pioneers could have subbed and forced this into being a delay of game. Just gets it off. Punt is dropped by Binkowski, but picks it back up, has some space, and he will take it for a touchdown.
If you're head coach Mike Budaszewski, I think you're yelling no, no, and then yes, yes, yes in that situation. A bit of a dangerous play by Binkowski after, not corralling it cleanly, but then just an absolute incredible display of athleticism for Binkowski. A guy who's had multiple interception returns for touchdowns in his career. I think that might be a first ever punt return touchdown.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Is it Binkowski or is it Aaron Apiat-Kubi? You'd think third different punt returner. It'd be odd to have it be one of your starters. But we don't have, Carroll doesn't list a punt returner on the depth chart. It'll be 37-7, now make it 38-7 with the extra point being good. And I think that's going to put this one out of reach for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, and from the beginning, Elmhurst was just, like you said, out of sorts. Number 2, Chris Reeves, been making a lot of good plays on defense. Actually, part of that personal protector area for your punt team, having him come on late, everything's a little bit, out of sorts. You're not able to get your lanes correctly. And then I believe that was Binkowski as the punt returner, listed at 6'2".
We do have 2 22s on the roster. One's a D-back, one's a wide receiver, so similar builds, tough to tell. But also on that punt, Caleb Lowney, number 26, one of the reserve linebackers, he has gotten awfully close to blocking a couple of different punts. Once again, going back to one that, being an Illinois school broadcast, is the great hands there from number 45, Evan Weber, and actually carries it forward for 10 yards.
Would have liked to have seen Weber maybe, prove me wrong that he'll make a play out there on special teams.
Yeah, back to that Pioneer punt return. Again, I know Elmhurst, maybe not too many Wisconsin Badger fans. I know Dean here, being a Plainfield, Illinois native, is a big Illini fan. But in 2017, the Badgers had Nick Nelson, corner, ended up being a 4th-round pick by the Oakland Raiders as the punt returner. He actually had one almost exactly the same late in the first half against the Michigan Wolverines that really sprung the Badgers into getting a big win there in Big Ten play. As Porter will carry it off the right side for a gain of, I call it 5 yards on first down.
Yeah, that was one very talented Badger team back in 2017. It has multiple players who are still in the NFL today.
Yeah, Dean and I drove down to Champaign to watch them play the Fighting Illini in what was actually kind of a miserable game right up until the Badgers threw a screen pass back to an offensive lineman. Michael Dieter, one of those players still in the league, as Odom will keep it to this near sideline. Shoestring tackle by number 9, Drake Emanuel.
Emmanuel is a guy that we actually really haven't mentioned much today, and I think that's probably a good thing just in terms of, not giving up any plays. But he's also another really smart player on the back end of this Pioneer defense who, when asked to, can diagnose plays very quickly, and like that time able to make a really nice tackle for a minimal gain.
Well, 5'10", 180-pound junior out of Rockton, Honnegan High School. Right there on the state line, a place where a few different Pioneer, back in my day, I was class of 2012, we had Dean Beck and then Neil Lang, both from that area. As blitz up the middle, just gets it away to Porter. He will pick up a couple yards, but that'll make it 4th down. Actually, I think it was Drake Emanuel on the safety blitz. The Red Seas parted in the middle of the offensive line. Work by Odom just to get it off, but that will bring up 4th and 5.
And he didn't.
And a punting situation.
Didn't get to that first down marker, but I got to give Porter a shout out there. It's some really nice hands, actually. Kind of, I don't think he was totally ready for that pass because, once again, the Pioneers had a free blitzer, and Odom got that one away, and Porter able to catch it.
And the punt snap is well over the head of Nick. Oh, and he's actually making some men miss, but there's a flag behind the play. He will be tackled for no gain. There was a almost certainly a legal block back behind it, but actually, I think it's number 36, Gino Ernesto, the other punter. That ball skied over his head. He had to retreat back to about the 5-yard line. Probably picked up 30 yards for where he picked it up, but too little too late, and also would have been overturned by that illegal block had he made it.
Yeah, Oristano showing off some wheels, like you see it on the replay here. Picked that one up off the turf, makes that man miss. Is might have to see the freshman from Roselle, Illinois, get worked into the offensive rotation a little bit with some moves like that.
Might be, the punter might be talking to the offensive coach to see if he can get a package. But the Pioneers will take over still with Charlie King in at quarterback at the Blue Jays 35-yard line. King hands it to Jackson Case off the right side, cuts back upfield. Pick up maybe a yard, if anything, on first down.
That time was just a really nice individual effort by Correa, as he's able to work off his block that time and get out there in space.
Gain of 1 on the play.
Was out there on the edge, and sometimes it can be pretty tough for defensive linemen in space to be able to bring down smaller running backs, but did a really nice job to keep Case corralled.
Make it 2nd and 9 now from the 34. King back in the gun. Case still to his left. Straight drop back. Going to flip it out here wide to Simmons. Comes back, makes the catch, spun out of rounds at about the 29-yard line. Set up 3rd and medium now for Carroll.
That was number 19, Trey Jackson, the one making that tackle for Elmhurst. And, it's not been the day you wanted for the Blue Jays being down 38-7, but, not giving up a nice little play like that to force a 3rd down, forcing the receiver to go out of bounds, even though it doesn't actually stop the clock. I like the idea.
7.5 to go in this one from Langhorse Field. Visiting Pioneers leading 38-7 over the Blue Jays. Straight handoff off the middle of the Jackson Case, and he will pick up the first down. Ball will be spotted, looks like just outside the red zone at the 23. Pioneers will hand it back off the Case. Looks like a similar play, able to knife through, pick up another 9 yards. Make it 2nd and 1 now.
That left side of the offensive line for the Pioneers, I think, really kind of smelling blood in the water here as the clock starting to wind down, really trying to impose their will a little bit. Carroll ran off about 5 minutes of game time right at the end of the game last week against Augustana with Nick Legnoli and Jackson Case, and looks like they're trying to replicate that here in the end game once again.
If you're Coach Mike Budiszewski, your best offensive lineman is your left tackle, number 61, Kevin Whitman, senior captain. That is who all of these runs have been right behind. Case up the middle again, another hole. He's drugged down inside the 5, but it'll be 1st and goal now for the Pioneers from the 4-yard line.
Yeah, it's really cool to see Jackson Case, back in there, getting a lot of run. The senior from Harriman, Utah.
And he will finish it off for his first touchdown, I think, in 2 years.
When he went down with that leg injury last year, it was a rough sight to see because, he'd been very effective as a running back. And kind of feels like maybe he's just starting to finally get back into, that game shape, having that shiftiness and that strength.
You can tell that means something. A couple of the Carroll coaching staff and their coaches box off to our left. Really celebrating hard for senior coming back from injury, able to finally find the end zone again. Swink will put it through. Perfect 6 for 6 on extra points for the sophomore from Chandler, Arizona. That'll make it 45-7 now in favor of the Carroll Pioneers.
So now 5:54 here to go in this one. I would like to see Elmhurst get creative a little bit on offense. You don't really have much to lose. That, see what some of these wide receivers that we haven't seen too much of can do, assuming you can keep your quarterback upright.
Well, if you look at the box score, it does not look like a 38-point game. Pioneers 269 net total yards to 168 for the Blue Jays. Only a +1 on the turnover margin for the Pioneers, but have been able to take advantage of short fields. Have not given the Blue Jays the same pinning them back to set up those short fields in a very lopsided scoreline beside the not that lopsided box score. Be another short kick. Porter will take it out of bounds at the 10-yard line. He cuts up this near sideline, has some space, going to get it across midfield before he's finally chased out of bounds at the 49-yard line of the Pioneers. So it'll be the first drive in plus territory for Elmhurst with 5:46 to go in this one.
Yeah, that was number 35, Amarion Bridges, a reserve defensive back for the Pioneers that escorted Porter out of bounds there. And I think that Matt Swink was pretty happy that he was able to get that, or his team was able to get that running back out of bounds before he had to try and make a play. I think Swink's eyes were a little bit wide as he was seeing the running back making his way up the sideline.
Yeah, Swink listed at 5'8", 185. Unlike Clayton Hebrew we were talking about earlier, I think that's a generous 5'8", 185.
I would agree.
As Odom flips it out to the flat to Anderson, runs through the first tackle. And he'll get drugged down after a gain of 5.
Griffiths with the tackle.
Make it 2nd and 5 now from the 44-yard line of the Pioneers.
I really would have liked to get out of bounds there if you're Anderson, but a good job by the Pioneers to keep him in bounds.
Odom flushed out to his left. Going to just take it on the scramble drill. He's going to pick up first down yardage. And he will be drugged down just before he reaches the sideline, but does pick up the first down.
I think I would have liked to have seen Elmhurst maybe try some more designed rollouts, actually, with all of the pressure that the Pioneers have brought here today. Try to get things a little more spread out for your offense if you haven't been having trouble protecting.
Especially when Odom's in the game, very quick. Back there, really, you can be able to take advantage of his athleticism. But it is a fake, and he will roll out to his right now. Hits a receiver. McCarville over the middle will be a gain of 15 and another first down for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, that time McCarville did a really nice job of finding the spot in the zone. Sometimes in those situations, if you're a wide receiver, you see your quarterback rolling, you kind of start to mirror by mistake, and instead of trying to lead, the quarterback will end up not making that throw, but a nice job of just sitting down, finding the space, and big gain.
And even though, too little too late today, I'd like to see the offense getting something going here, because things do not get any easier for the Blue Jays. Next 2 weeks, road games at Wheaton and North Central. We'll have to check that Wheaton Wash U game, but those are the 2 top programs here in the conference. As Odom scrambles forward for a gain of 8. Say Dean is double checking those scores around the CCIW.
just under 5 to play there in that game. Wheaton leading Wash U 27-17.
So Wheaton keeping their playoff hopes alive. Of course, the tough thing when they dropped the non-conference matchup at the last second against UW Oshkosh, that really hurts you as an at-large bid. As Odom takes the snap, fakes the throw, now flushed out to his left, has a receiver near corner, but that bounce just in front of the diving McCarville.
I'm not entirely sure that this wasn't a catch.
We'll have to check this replay.
It does hit the ground just right before he gets his hands under there.
I think he just couldn't quite get the hands together to keep it from just hitting that turf. So it'll be 3rd and 3 now from the 15-yard line. 2:45 to go in this one from Langhorst Field.
Just real quick, a close one between Illinois Wesleyan and North Park. North Park up 28-24 with just under 5 to play in their game.
That was a team the Blue Jays were able to beat earlier in the year, pick up the first of those back-to-back wins. And Lane will dive forward for first down yardage.
First down for the Blue Jays.
Set up the Blue Jays. 1st and 10, 1st and goal, I should say, from the 9-yard line. I'd like to see Tavion Porter in the game now. Hopefully he can punch this one in. Actually, now Lane coming back in, of course. Porter with that big gain set up the lone Elmhurst touchdown. You know, hopefully as we wind down to the near the 2-minute timeout, hopefully he can get back in the game, maybe get himself a touchdown after setting up one earlier. Fake that pop pass, roll out right. They throw it to Lane, and he will be taken out of bounds just short.
It's a really nice play design.
Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 2 minutes. Thank you.
You fake the end around with Cockrell, and then you get your running back with a full head of steam out there into the flat. It was a tough play to defend, but really nice job by reserve linebacker number 48, Evan Griffiths, to make that tackle there before Lane was able to get into the end zone.
It's now 2-minute timeout. Explicitly not the 2-minute warning. The last time the Blue Jays got inside the 5, went under center. Looks like they're going to again. And it is going to be Tavion Porter in the game at running back behind John Odom. Man in motion. They're going to hand it off on that jet sweep. It's number 1, Jacob Cockrell, who's in the game on the fly motion sweep.
Another play that's really hard to defend there at the goal line. You have a receiver who is running as fast as he can with that motion. It's a very high percentage play when you're that close.
I'll say when I am playing EA Sports CFB 25 down inside the 5, I also too am often running that jet motion. Like you said, you get to the edge so quick. Defense doesn't have much of a chance. High snap brought down by Odom. Kick is up and good by Davila for his second extra point of the game. 1:55 to go here from Langhorst Field.
Yeah, you had mentioned the rough stretch on the schedule for Elmhurst, Wheaton, and North Central. Carroll, I believe, also plays at North Central next Saturday.
Before finishing up with a pair at home against Illinois Wesleyan, and then final game of the year against the Carthage Firebirds. I know that's a game that I think that the Pioneers had circled. We just attended that game as fans last year, where the Firebirds were able to upset the Pioneers and win back the Musket Trophy rivalry game for the two members that make up the W of the CCIW.
Yeah, for several years there, it was just the one, as Carthage is the only W team.
Davila to kick it away.
As Davila has the ball teed up. He kind of does that half way deep, half
Near side.
onside, try and pop it up on the near sideline, see if it can stay in bounds, but it will go out for the illegal procedure. So Pioneers will take over. Is it at the 30 or 35? I don't even remember. I know it's different in the NFL versus college. It is the 35.
Free kick out of bounds. On the kicking team, ball will be placed at the 35, first down.
So Pioneers will run out the reserves now. Number 8, Maximus General, the quarterback. A freshman from Chicago, DuPage High. Running back's going to be number 29, Carson Crouch, a senior. Hasn't got a ton of playing time, but a guy that, it's one of those guys that coaches appreciate, that he's in there working hard every day on scout team. Always nice when they can get them into the game.
Gain of 1.
He picks up a yard. The Pioneers will have to run 2 more plays before this one is officially over. Sweep it off the right side with Crouch. And he actually gets into the open field, gets pushed out of bounds after a gain of 20. There's Crouch.
It was believe not a read, but still a nice job of selling it by General, the freshman quarterback. You know, doing the little things the right way.
So with that clock stoppage, Pioneers will have to once again run 2 more plays, 1:03 to go.
I would look for him to maybe run behind the 2 tight ends here on the left side.
And they do sweep it off this left side, stumbling forward, picks up a yard.
Crouch, the ball carrier.
And with 55 seconds to go, so long as the Pioneers stay in bounds on this play, it will be the last one of our game. Will be 28, Anthony Martirano, a freshman from Vernon Hills, Illinois. Lined up with General in the backfield for this final play of the game. He just dives forward, drives, give him a yard for the freshman, and with just 10 seconds on the clock, that will do it here from Langhorse Field. The visiting Carroll Pioneers will come in and get a victory 45-14 over the Blue Jays. We'll have a quick little highlight package of the big plays of the second half before we call it a game. While that's getting queued up, we'll run through the final stats as I just refresh them here.
Game time currently listed at 12 noon. Thanks for attending today's game.
Actually, we'll run through our highlights quick before that. There's the big run by Charlie King. First play of the second half for the Pioneers. Pulled it on the zone read. Now, something we didn't see much in the first half. Waited, and then something now. Long pass to Reed Breckheimer. Just one of those little screens in the flat. Runs through a couple tackles. Carries it upfield for, what did we think it was? Just under 50 yards?
About a 48-yard gain, or 47, I believe.
And that set up this touchdown pass. Titan Kilgore on the reception. Charlie King just dropped that one perfectly in the bucket. It was great coverage from Jeffrey Laylighter, but just an even better throw. Here, the big play of the second half for the Blue Jays. Tavon Porter was, initially stopped up, but then ended up carrying it down to the 3-yard line. Okay, we had a little bit of a glitch there, but now we've got it. You can see there Porter with a stiff arm, and then just so much speed. The only thing, took a very good angle from Elliot Miller to force him out. Tried to do that, cut in, get him to flip the hips. Miller never did. And that set up the first touchdown. Darius Lane, the very next play, punching it in.
Yeah. Following behind the extra offensive line in the backfield there as a fullback as well.
Yeah, of course, with the proliferation of spread offenses, you don't see fullbacks really anymore. That's such a shame, though. Is now the punt return touchdown, just about blocked by Caleb Lowney. Actually dropped before picked up. We're not sure, again, not sure if this was Jake Binkowski or Aaron Apiakubi, but either way, special teams touchdown for the Pioneers. I think their first one of the year.
I believe that is correct, yes.
And then to cap it off, Jackson Case, the senior battling back from injuries, put the cherry on top of this one for Coach Mike Budaszewski's team. And then, so final stats here in the Carroll Pioneer 45-14 victory. Pios 289 yards, 193 on the ground, 96 in the air. The Blue Jays 217, 130 on the ground, 87 through the air. Defensively, it was 2 fumble recoveries for the Pioneers. Did throw the 1 interception, highlight play by Jeffrey Laylighter early in the first half. Individually, Odom was 9 of 22 for 82 yards. Leon's 2 of 5 for 5. Porter, the leading rusher for the Blue Jays, 12 for 107. Lane, 5 for 33 with the touchdown. Cockrell, Anderson, McCarville each had multiple catches, 26, 22, and 24 respectively. For the Pioneers, Charlie King, 12 of 23 for 93 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the interception. Very balanced game rushing. Case had 10 for 50 and a touchdown. Breckheimer 5 for 40. Legnioli 9 for 32. King had 6 for 26. Simmons 21 on an end around. Crouch 3 for 20 late. Receiving wise, Reed Breckheimer had 90. Actually, I think there might be a bit of some confusion here on the live stats. We have Tyson Kilgore with a minus 62-yard catch listed on there. I think that might have been something wonky with
does not seem quite right
on that lighter interception. But that will do it here from Langhorse Field. I want to give a big thank you to the Elmhurst Blue Jays and SID Matt Hoff to have us here as guest announcers.
It was a lot of fun to be here. A good weather day here in Elmhurst. Beautiful fall afternoon, and hopefully both teams are coming out healthy from today. And we would like to definitely thank the Elmhurst athletic staff for having us, and Suncom for having us here. And it will be hopefully Elmhurst. We wish them luck the rest of the way this season.
But for Dean Parr, Ross Buck would sign out on the Elmhurst Blue Jays TV on YouTube.com.